Hello and welcome to the 13th official episode of the What We Watch podcast. I'm your host, John, and with us today, as always, is...
Jonathan.
And...
Rustin.
That's good. All right. Today we have a show 2 months in the making. Okay? We haven't recorded for 2 goddamn months. And I've got 40 goddamn movies to talk about. And I'm not going... to go in depth on all of them.
You're not going to be ashamed?
No, I'm not ashamed at all. I wish it was more. I feel a little embarrassed that it's not more. Because I've been off.
That's right, you have been off.
So I had plenty of time to watch stuff.
You should have like 200 movies by now.
Well, that might be a little extreme. But yeah, I should have had more than this. But anyways, we're going to go through all those. We don't have any specific film that we're talking about this week. We haven't seen anything in the theater recently, I don't think.
Apocalypse, but...
I guess theoretically we'd be talking about Apocalypse.
And high-rse.
Most recent film.
But we'll just go through all those.
We'll have to talk about that. I think it's the only one we've all watched recently.
Was X-Men Apocalypse.
Yeah, so we should save that.
So I have a quick correction about episode 12. As I was re-listening to it, I realized that I said something totally incorrect, and that's Zack Snyder's first film I said was Cabin Fever, which is not true at all. That's Eli Roth's first film. Zack Snyder's first film is Dawn of the Dead, the remake.
That's a good film.
Just don't want to come off like a douchey idiot who thinks he knows everything. I don't. I have seen Dawn of the Dead. I actually rewatched half of it a couple of months ago and couldn't get through it. It's really, really bad.
I haven't seen it.
And
I remember liking it, but it's been a long time.
I remember liking it too. That's why I wanted to rewatch it, but it's not very good.
That sucks how you remember really liking something and you go back and what the fuck?
Absolutely. Yeah. And another correction will come when we talk about a film I watch, another Zack Snyder film I watch. So stay tuned for that. That's how you get them. You got to hook them in. Hold on. Okay, so... being as how I have more than twice the amount of films to talk about than both of you.
You'll do 4, we'll do 1.
Okay, I'll start then. My first film that I watched after the last episode, which was, again, 2 months ago, so I'm going to be far removed from a lot of these movies, was Savage Grace, directed by Tom Kalin from 2007. Stars Fish Face McGee, whatever his name is.
What?
Edward Mansom. What is the guy's name? The guy who won the Oscar for playing Stephen Hawking.
Eddie Redmayne.
And
he's terrible.
It's him and Julianne Moore plays his mother, and it's a movie about a true
Oscar bait.
It probably wanted to be, but it's pretty embarrassing.
I feel like
how bad
he is like Oscar bait incarnate into an actor.
Well, this is like 9 years ago, so this is before he was anybody.
Okay.
I think this is one of his first roles. But it's a true story about a schizophrenic boy who grows up with his mother, ends up fucking his mother, and then kills her.
Okay.
So
rapes her?
No. She instigates it.
Oh my god.
So Savage Grace.
Okay.
Is terrible.
My face kind of hurts.
Okay. Savage Grace is horrible. Okay, suffice to say, and it probably wanted to be Oscar bait. It was probably trying to be some kind of big mainstream movie, but it fails because of its subject matter. Obviously, nobody's going to nominate this movie for an Oscar because it's about a boy having sex with his mother and killing her.
Mm-hmm.
And they show it, the act of sex, which is not as disturbing as I thought it was going to be, because when you're watching, you're like, well, but they're not really. It really takes you out of it because you're like, obviously they're not mother and son because and you want to think they're not mother and son when it's happening. It makes it more comfortable to think of them as the actors as opposed to related. Because if they were related, it would feel weird and disturbing. So it automatically takes you out of it. But that's actually the least of its problems. The problems are way deeper. It's really poorly written, terribly filmed, terribly edited. The direction is god-awful. Everything about this movie is a shit show. I gave it a 1 out of 5.
Wow.
Holy shit.
It's horrible. It's absolutely horrible. And Julianne Moore, I don't know what she's doing in this. It's embarrassing. I'm not a huge fan of hers, but she can do better than this.
Yeah.
She has done better than this. The next film I watched was The World's Greatest Sinner, directed by Timothy Carey from 1962. And this was the exact opposite. This was amazing. Okay? Honestly, it has a lot in common, though. It was also poorly edited. poorly made, but the story is so interesting and so absurd and unusual, especially for 1962, that it forces you to be interested and become engaged the entire movie. The story is about Timothy Carey, the director, is also the star of the film, and he plays an insurance adjuster, insurance salesman, something like that, and he ends up becoming dissatisfied with his life and therefore quits his job and decides to become a pop star after he sees a young man on a rock and roll like stage.
What year is this based
very
on?
popular, 1962.
It's like based in 60.
Yeah.
Or 62.
62.
So he plans to
Well,
be.
I think he actually made in like 59, but he didn't get released till 62.
So he plans to be a jukebox hero.
Okay.
He wants to be a
Standing in the
jukebox.
rain.
Yeah, exactly. But because he sees the sway that this one rock star has over his audiences, and he wants that power over people, and it ends up it progresses and progresses to the point where he starts his own religion, and he changes his name legally to God. And,
Wow.
yeah.
Wow.
And then he ends up seducing and fucking a 13-year-old girl. All this is in the movie. It's really strange to see for a 1962, but it's actually very, very interesting and controversial and just a good watch, and just really, really good. I think very highly of it, and I would highly recommend it to people who can handle this sort of thing. I mean, a lot of people, certain religious people would have issues with it, I'm sure, because he calls himself God and everything. But I gave this one a 4.5 out of 5. It's great.
Cool.
World's Greatest Sinner. Check it out. You have to download it. It's got like 1 seater online, so it's going to take a while.
I want to say you told me about this.
I did.
Anyway, okay.
Next, I watched Midnight Special. It's the latest movie by Jeff Nichols. It stars Michael Shannon and Kirsten Dunst and Joel Edgerton and some kid, and Sam Shepard's in there for a second, and and Adam Driver's in it. This movie's all right. I don't have a lot to say about it. It's like trying to be like a throwback, like 80s Amblin kind of thing, like E.T. or Close Encounters or like one of these kinds of movies. It's about this kid who's got special alien powers and they don't know why, and turns out there's like the government's after him and he knows about it. There's all this weird stuff. But the interesting about this is that the marketing totally ignored one aspect of the film, which is that at the beginning he turns out he's part of a cult and he's become like kind of the religious icon of the cult, and the cult is essentially worshiping him, and they think that he's like a prophet. And the story is basically about Michael Shannon, who's his father, trying to get him out of the cult. So they're being chased by cult members and chased by like the FBI and all kinds of other like phantom government agencies and stuff. And it's all right. It's not amazing. Definitely watchable. Definitely worth seeing. If you're a Jeff Nichols fan, it's just further his descent into commercialism, I guess. I mean, he's definitely making more and more like, watchable, palatable kind of stuff the more and more he makes movies. So, but he's still good and everything. I don't not talk that bad about Jeff Nichols. I like Jeff Nichols. I'll talk about one more, and then you guys can have your turn. Sorry I have so many, but it is what it is. You wait 2 months to record. You got 40 movies to talk about. Bicycle Thieves, directed by Vittorio De Sica. It's from 1948. This is like a classic. It's on Criterion Collection. And like most classics from the 40s that you watch for the first time when you're 30, it's okay. It's not great. It's not mind-blowing. It doesn't do much for me. It's just a good movie, It's all right. It's about this guy who loses his bicycle and searches for it the whole movie. And the bicycle's really important to him because he needs it to have a job, and he needs the job to support his family. Mm-hmm. So it's a pretty like basic kind of like Disney storyline, essentially, but told in a pretty gritty, realistic way. And I don't know, it's all right. But the thing that pissed me off was I watched this movie at a meeting of the Baton Rouge Film Club, and it was right after I had seen Batman vs. Superman, and there were these old fucks there who clearly had seen the movie before and were coming there because like, oh, we love classic cinema. Classic cinema's great. They don't make movies like they used to. That kind of shit. And they were just talking all kinds of shit about everything except this movie, as if this movie and classics like it were the only movies. Everything else is garbage. Oh, they don't make them like this anymore. You look at the newspaper now, they got a Batman versus Superman trash. And I didn't say anything, and I regret it to this day.
It makes you want to like that more.
I wanted to defend it. I did say that I liked it. I was like, there's nothing wrong with that movie. It's fine. But what I want to say was that, the only reason you think that there aren't movies made like this or that are as good as this is because you don't know what fucking movies are being made. All you know is what's in the newspaper. If you want to look for movies, there are plenty of them being made that aren't coming to your major Cineplex, that aren't made by Zack Snyder for $400 million.
Yeah.
I mean, tell me that, you watched the last 4 Paul Thomas Anderson films and that they're not making great films anymore. Get fucked, old fucks. Anyway, I didn't say any of that because I'm a big pussy.
Oh, and the bicycle thieves, were they fast talking high trousers?
No, this is
Sorry,
this is not an American film, so it's,
okay, gotcha. Okay.
It's Italian, so it's a little they don't have the kind of like Hollywood cliches, and all the actors are pretty much non-actors. Like, they're not, and the acting's therefore not that great, but it's okay because again, when you're foreign and you're speaking a different language, you don't notice the acting as much.
Yeah.
I feel.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why like all of Godard's films are like, I feel like everybody's a great actor, but it's just because they're not speaking English. That's why I can't really judge their acting. Anyway, that's it for me for now.
All right.
I'll
let
take
Rustin
one here.
take it over here.
All right. Now, I was informed of the last podcast I ended on the Thin Red Line, so, and I can't remember, but I'm pretty sure I didn't mention this one. So I start with the next one I watched, and this it's a list of most of them are in April, so I'm pretty removed from them now, but I'll just have to try to dig deep and remember any points that I may have noticed in when I was watching, though a couple of them are probably ones that y'all aren't going to be interested in because they're anime, but
that's okay.
All right, but the next thing I watched was The Mummy, and
Directed by Stephen Sommers.
yes, and
97?
starring the incredibly talented and very, very attractive
Brendan Fraser.
good one,
Yeah.
Rachel Weisz and Brendan Fraser, and I'm trying to think of who. I know there's several other actors that I can't pick their names, but they're
John
character
Hannah
actors
or something.
Yeah.
Is his name, the guy who plays the brother,
Yes,
and the guy who was in Hard Target, who's the villain in this.
oh, and Arnold Vosloo as the mummy.
yeah, that's right,
Discount
yeah.
Billy Zane.
Vosloo, yeah.
He kind of reminds me of Billy Zane. I don't know.
He's awful.
Yeah.
And I think the guy who plays the pilot is somebody, the old man who plays the pilot.
I can't remember
know
who.
it is.
But anyways, it's basically taking, I guess don't know the time period that the original The Mummy horror film was made. It was like either the 30s or 40s, and they just basically take that, revamp it, and turn it into like kind of like an Indiana Jones style action adventure. And this is a rewatch. And this is, I mean, I enjoyed it when it first came out. In fact, the version I watched was a bootleg videotape that my mom got me right when the movie came out, when she was in New York for something, and she came by a set with people who were selling bootlegs and so it was funny. The quality of the movie was from one of those high-8 camcorders in the theater, and so while watching it, it almost seemed like I was watching a movie that was made now, but in the grainy version of the 1930s. So it looked like a movie partially from the 1930s, just how grainy and crappy the quality was, which is kind of funny. And then when I come to watch the movie, I don't know, maybe a couple months later when it came out on a video, I was like, wow, I didn't know this actually looked a lot better than it did, you know? But one of the main points, though, now is CGI has not aged well at all. CGI is terrible in the movie. But other than that, I mean, everything else is great. I love the humor in it. I mean, some of the humor is really goofy and cheesy, but it gets to a point where it's almost really bad, but then it kind of it levels off, and so it kind of keeps a good balance of the action and adventure, the humor, the story, and there's several lines that are just well delivered. Like the one part in this, and it's almost really cheesy because Brendan Fraser, even though he's kind of this. He like he does a pretty good job as kind of like this Indiana Jones style action, almost a little more over the top badass character. He has these moments where he's almost too cool, but they add like this goofiness to it to kind of level it off. And one of the best lines is like, when I went there, all we found, and I can't remember the first part of the line, it just slips in my mind, but all we found was sand and blood. That's the way he delivers it. Just
blood.
Blood. It's awesome.
And the guy who plays Benny is Kevin J. O'Connor. He's in the last couple Paul Thomas Anderson movies.
Oh, yeah.
He's in The Master and There Will Be Blood.
Cool.
He's great.
But it's if you like action adventure, and a lot of people, I think most people have seen this, but if you haven't, it's a great fun film. I wouldn't suggest the sequels. In fact, I'll be getting to one of those later on. But it's a great standalone action adventure movie. It's really reminiscent of Indiana Jones style. A little more, I guess, lighthearted and goofiness to it. Less dark than some of the Indiana Jones films. So probably a little more friendly to kids. Not really young kids, because there is some, I guess there would be some frightening stuff in there. And then CGI is pretty bad, but
if
it's
your
still,
kids are pussies, don't show them
exactly.
this movie.
There's a lot of awesome, cool moments in it, and 4.5 out of 5. It's just
Nice.
really good.
All right.
I think I talked about the year punk broke on the last one. I don't remember.
I don't know if you did or not.
The Sonic Youth documentary. Well, not
Great
just Sonic
movie.
Youth, but I gave it a 3.5. It's really good. Some of the performances are terrible.
Thurston Moore is hilarious.
Yeah, all the Sonic Youth stuff is good, and all the Nirvana stuff is good, and the Dinosaur Jr. stuff is not that good because it's like later.
I honestly don't even remember them being in it.
Yeah. Man, it's not that great. After that, I watched. I don't even know if I feel like I talked about Zootopia, but I don't remember.
We'll just talk about it again. I can always cut it out.
Zootopia. I don't know. It's a kids movie.
Do you love this? Is it 5 out of 5 for you? Or?
It's 2.5.
Did you see this with Allison?
Yeah.
Did she love it?
She liked it.
This is Pixar or
No, it's
Disney?
Fox. Disney?
No, it's Disney or Pixar.
It's Disney.
Disney. Yes.
Okay, how does this rank among the other Disney?
Oh, this is like shit tier. Like, this
it's
is
low
like
grade?
Yeah, this is like nothing. This.
Wow.
I mean, compared to what, like Aladdin?
No, I was thinking more like the other CG films they've made.
Oh.
You can't compare it to another era of
What?
movies.
What are
yeah.
their
Well,
other CG?
the other
movies?
CGI
Frozen?
films at the Disney line would be like Frozen.
Frozen is a nightmare.
And before that, I think it was like that. I can't even remember the name of the girl, but the one with the hair, let down your hair, Rapunzel. Tangled. Yeah, there's that.
Oh, Tangled wasn't that bad.
I never saw that, so but
You were... I don't even know you. You've seen all these movies?
Yeah, go with Allison.
It's insane.
If it has Disney on it and it's animated, she goes and sees it.
Wow. I mean, that's cool that she sees it.
I mean, what?
Just kidding with you.
Tangled wasn't that bad. Frozen is. I saw part of that. It was horrible.
I can't. People love Frozen, but I can't stand musicals. That's not my thing.
nightmare.
I just don't think
it's
the music
singing-
is very good.
No.
I like Aladdin has musical numbers, and I'm like, these are actually like some of them are funny, and like other ones are like okay, I can listen to them. At least they're not like
I can
ear
like Beauty and the Beast.
murder. You know,
I can take all those musical numbers and the Gaston song. I love.
it's amazing.
That's like
the
one of
Gaston
the
song
best
rules.
songs ever created
That's why
for
it shouldn't be
animation.
remade.
Yes.
No, they shouldn't. But,
Anyway, Zootopia has none of this. It has like racial undertones and no
it's
musicals.
like it's kind of like a satire or something,
Yeah.
sort of, right? Like a metaphor for drugs and shit like that or whatever.
Well, that
That's
and
what I
like
heard on.
there's like I mean I don't know if it's like pointing towards like African Americans, like the foxes are African Americans, like no one like wants them or something. It's like really strange. I don't know. And like
are you suggesting that no one wants African Americans?
I mean this is what I've read. This is what I've read that people think that this is about. And I don't know. I don't know if I got any of that, but like
No, it's got a lot of racial like undertones with it, like just the, like discrimination for. Just it's almost like it back in it, like its discrimination seems both towards women and like people
minorities.
Minorities,
It's
exactly,
definitely
yeah.
about no.
Can I
Because
make
you can't be.
a small note right quick? You are much louder than both of us.
Really?
Yeah. All those spikes are you talking. I'm just letting you know.
Okay. Hey, how's it going?
Well, that's now that you're facing away from the
Hey,
microphone.
how's it going? Hey.
You're talking low.
Okay, Zootopia is awesome. It's the best
There you
movie
go.
ever made. I mean, I can't control
Can
it.
you
I don't
lower
know.
it a little bit
I mean,
more?
yeah.
Just like slightly. I mean, I don't know. I just don't want you to come off as like insanely
Hey.
loud.
He got caught in the bag. Okay, he panicked. Run to make it less scary. Okay. Okay, I'll just put it away. Is that
that's
better?
yeah. I don't.
That
Yeah,
was
I don't
funny.
know.
Though.
I'm just.
What-
I just don't want it to be like
No, I understand.
weird.
It's fine.
I don't care about your voice being loud. I just don't like. I don't want it to be unbalanced. Can you give me a marker on that? I'm sorry. I'm gonna cut out that whole conversation because it's lame.
6. Oh, fucking hell. I don't remember. Let me just go back.
All right.
Okay, anyway,
Go ahead.
Zootopia.
Zootopia.
Not
Piece
the
of shit.
Not the worst thing ever.
Oh,
Give
not
it two
not
and
a
a
piece of
half.
shit. Oh, you give it 2.5?
Or mildly entertaining parts, but I don't know. All the racial stuff and all that's just
Were any of the animals
Dumb.
attractive, a la Bugs Bunny in the 1940s
No.
cartoons when he cross-dressed?
no.
Was the sloth funny at the
Honestly,
DMV?
I probably should have given it a 2, but whatever.
Was the sloth funny at the DMV?
That was actually pretty funny, even the second time,
okay.
or the 700th time.
That part made me laugh in the trailer. The first time I saw the trailer, but then after that, I was like, "That's probably all they got. They probably blew their load in the trailer."
That
know.
was a massive load.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
that's it.
yeah. For now,
All right.
I feel like I talked about that already.
Well, after Bicycle Thieves, I remember waking up early the next day and going downstairs and turning on the Apple TV and sifting through the movies on iTunes and realizing that my wife had bought The Dark Knight before she knew me, and bought it digitally, and so we had it on our iTunes library. So I played that bad boy. I said, I haven't been meaning to rewatch The Dark Knight. Give Nolan another try. Maybe see if this thing holds up or if it gets
Did we
better.
see that together, or was that Rises? I can't remember.
I know I saw Dark Knight by myself early in the day, and then we might have rewatched it.
I saw Begins with you
Okay.
and Rises with you.
Okay.
That's what it was. Okay.
Because I remember there was a plan to see Dark Knight, but everybody was working and I was off, so I went and saw it at like 11 in the morning. Because I was very excited because I had liked Begins. Now I think I would probably hate Begins because I really did not like The Dark Knight on rewatch. This is a piece of shit, and I'm sorry to say it. It's just so goofy and ridiculous.
Really?
And the problem with it is that
Piece of shit. Wow.
the problem that I have with it is that it's plays so serious, like it wants to be taken seriously as like a film. It wants to tell an interesting story with like these heavy themes, but it's still about a man who dresses up as a bat and fights crime. It's still a comic
Just
book
listen
story.
to these words. Batman.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just like let that sink in for just 1 minute.
Okay.
Batman. Done. It's just like
Wait. Give us a minute.
Batman.
Wow, that really hits home.
Spider-Man. It's just like
Captain America.
what are we doing here? What are we doing?
That's my point. Is that this
Except
film
that
is
X-Men rules.
this film is attempting to take place in a reality, a crime film, mid-90s crime film reality, a Michael Mann reality.
Yeah,
honestly, he's
seriously.
lifting half the shit from Heat, and it doesn't work because it's like so ludicrously unbelievable, and the whole Heath Ledger is amazing in this, or what? I'm sorry, no disrespect to the dead, he's not that great. He's fine. He did a fine job. I'm sure other actors could have done equally well.
He went insane because of this movie and died because of this movie.
Fuck you. his
Like,
death. I'm sorry.
When you watch this movie, it is like apparently like he got so into character that he actually got depressed and shit, and like or something like. And
well, that's his fucking problem. I'm sorry. I don't even care. Like, big fucking deal. You know, if like then don't get so invested in some piece of shit popcorn movie.
But that
look. If that's the case,
there's no results.
If that's the case, think about how sad that is. That he got so depressed and killed himself accidentally killed himself over a film like this.
Yeah.
It'd be like if Chris Evans killed himself because he got so depressed about getting into character and having to fight Iron Man. Iron Man was my friend. And then he has to overdose on barbiturates, you know? It's like, these movies are terrible. Like, there's no reason to, they're not that important, is my point. And Nolan wants to be this, you know, he compares himself to Kubrick, for God's sake.
That's insanity.
He wears, like, these weird suede suits when he directs. I can't fucking stand the guy.
He made Interstellar. That's his 2001, man.
We'll get to that later on. I watched that very recently. The Dark Knight just doesn't work. It doesn't work for me. I think it's really not good. The action sequences are very boring and poorly put together. The editing is terrible. Some of the shots look okay. I mean, so I guess Wally Pfister knows how to use a camera and a lens. But other than that, I don't have anything positive to say about this thing.
What's your favorite Batman film?
The Batman movie, the movie that has the character Batman in it, that I would give the highest score to right now would probably be Batman versus Superman. Because I watched Returns maybe a year or two ago, and I didn't like it at all. It was terrible. Batman's barely in Returns. And I know I don't like the first one because Kim Basinger is the worst fucking actress alive. And it has a Prince soundtrack, and fuck Prince. Lots of disrespect to the dead there.
Like alienating Earth now.
I'm sorry, I don't fucking get it. Prince is not a big deal. Where was all the love for Bowie? Fuck you. Sorry. Anyway, so yeah, Batman versus Superman probably
very true
would be the one.
So far, he has like the best Batman in my. He's almost Batman from the first season or first two seasons of the animated series.
I'm sorry, I thank you for reminding me. Mask of the Phantasm would be my favorite Batman film.
There you go.
Without a doubt.
There you go.
Talk about how to tell an origin story. Shows him like so much better than Batman Begins because it weaves in the Joker mythology into it. It just works so much better, and it's a cartoon.
That's what I was going to say. Like
exactly, this is the way to tell the story in comics and cartoons. You don't tell the story in reality. It makes
That's why I feel like
sense.
Japan has like a really good grasp on that, where it's just like their animated stuff is like taken all seriously.
Yeah, where adults go to the store and buy mangas,
and it's like,
it's like.
I wish we had that here.
I wish we did too. Well, I wish we do have it, except that the adults who are buying mangas aren't serious. They're like fucking nerds. And they aren't taken seriously, and everybody hates them. Including, I mean, to a degree, I do. So, I don't have anything nice to say about these people. These, 45-year-old people who, buy mangas about schoolgirls and read them. I mean, get a fucking life. But the point is that there's a lot of good material also that is age-appropriate that you could be into. And, I mean, it's not wrong to like Batman. It's not wrong to like Superman. But it is... or Captain America, but it is silly to, I think, approach it in a way that makes it as serious as it is, because it's inherently unserious.
I mean, yeah, that's
Batman is not serious. Just the fact that it's so dark, his parents got murdered. Like, yeah, that's great, but it's not. It's just not. It's like it's a fictional character who has a completely unrealistic response to his parents getting murdered, which is, I'm going to dress as a bat and fight crime. Nobody would do that if their parents got murdered.
Just blame Frank Miller for turning everything mature.
I kind of do. I mean, I'm not saying I'm not saying that I don't blame Frank Miller, because I think Frank Miller did a lot of good for the character also. And I mean, a lot of Batman versus Superman is based on Miller's stuff, like the Dark Knight Returns and everything, but which I think is fine. And I'm not a huge fan of any of this shit to begin with. But if you look at the cartoon, I think the cartoon, the very fact that it's a medium like cartoon is the reason it succeeds. Mm-hmm. Because you can, there's freedom to do anything within the aesthetic of the cartoon. And B, so you can have characters like Clayface, for instance. They look incredible because it's a cartoon. You couldn't have Clayface in a movie. It would be retarded.
That show rules.
Right? So that
especially the Western episode in the Joker's last laugh with the steaming pile of garbage and that signature like orchestrated.
Honestly,
I'll
go
soundtrack. It's so badass.
I'll go as far as saying Bane. Bane looks like dog shit in the movie.
I agree.
Like it's it's so bad.
He looks
He's a professional wrestler.
He looks retarded. He looks more like a professional wrestler in the TV show. In the animated series, he looks like he's wearing like a luchadora mask.
Yeah,
like he looks retarded. But it's a cartoon, so I don't care. He can look however he wants to. They can have a character like the Mad Hatter or whatever, the guy who's like a takes control of people by putting a card in their hat. Like it's retarded, but it's a cartoon, so I don't mind.
Yeah.
The Joker can wear the exact same outfit the entire show, every single episode he's on. Doesn't matter to me. It's a cartoon. But when you've got a character like that and you try to morph him into a realistic character, you come up with what Heath Ledger did. Oh, I've got to take it extremely dark because what kind of a maniac would paint his face white and like kill people, you know? He's got to be some kind of fucking, loose nut crazy man. And I stand by what we had always talked about at LPK. I'm sorry if it's offensive. I'm sorry if it seems un-PC. Joker should have raped Maggie Gyllenhaal in The Dark Knight. It makes so much more sense than him blowing her up. Like, what a fucking ludicrous... Like, he's one man. And this idea that he takes control of the mentally challenged and, like, uses their disabilities, it's mental. Like, they're challenged. How would they, like, how do you take control of somebody like that? How do you even manipulate somebody like that? They're unpredictable. Like the guy with the phone, like the bomb inside of him. It's awful. It's awful. That movie is awful, guys. Stop watching this movie. Stop watching Nolan. Nolan is terrible. He doesn't know what he's doing. He puts on an airs like he's Spielberg or like he's Kubrick or like he's Fincher, and he's just not. He's not at their level. He's not anywhere near that caliber.
But people think he is.
People think he is because they're not looking at his movies. They're seeing this entertainment, this entertaining like popcorn. It's like a cheeseburger versus a filet mignon. You know, it's like if you want a cheeseburger, and sometimes I do. Okay, but when I want a cheeseburger, I'm gonna go to Burger Smith or I'm gonna go to Fat Cow. I'm not gonna go to McDonald's and get a cheeseburger because that's gross. Okay, and Interstellar and all these other movies and fucking anything Nolan's had an association with are the quarter pounder of movies. That's right, and or even like maybe it's not even the right analogy, but they're like dressed up to be more than they are. They're just not good.
I mean, I think it's the definition of pretentious. Like it literally is the definition of pretentious. Interstellar is pretentious. Mm-hmm. It is ridiculously bad. He gets like a physicist to come on board to like make sure everything's okay with the wormholes and shit.
And even with the physicist, still makes leaps in logic that make no fucking sense. And to the point where, and when you invite Kip Thorne on and say, we've got Kip Thorne, he's helping us, he's making sure everything's legit, you're inviting criticism. You're inviting people like Neil deGrasse Tyson to come in and say, this is wrong or this doesn't make sense.
No, he's just like, well, Kubrick had Arthur C. Clarke, so it's like...
Arthur C. Clarke was a fucking fiction writer.
I know, but I think that's like... I seriously think that he thinks that he's Kubrick, or he's like trying to like...
Clearly.
I'm so inspired by 2001.
Let's hold off. We're getting ahead of ourselves because you still have to...
I'll talk about Interstellar.
I have some things to say about that too, but let me one more thing about Batman.
Sure.
I did comment on, and this is a mistake on my part. I commented on your post of the Dark Knight, and it was actually referencing stuff from actually The Dark Knight Rises, which you reminded me of. Yeah. But because that's what I saw you with. But I got to bring this up since we're not going to be talking about that one. I'm not watching that one. Is the most offensive thing to me, and for lack of a better word, I use the word offensive. Is whenever it's what's his face it. Lovett?
Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Love it. Whatever.
Love it.
But anyways, when he, whenever two instances in the movie, one where he is he's defending himself, he's defending his life, and he kills one of these minions of Bane or whatever.
Haven't we talked about this?
Defending his life, and he shoots the guy and kills him because he's a cop, right?
Okay.
But then after that moment, he figures out he's dead. He looks, and then he looks at his hands. He looks at his gun, and he goes and throws it. Like, that was so stupid. I mean, later on, you could maybe make that judgment. You don't want to kill anybody, but that was the most fucking bullshit way to do it. It was stupid. And then later he does this. He completely rips from
Rips a fart.
rips a fart. He completely rips a scene. Rips off a scene. This is Nolan. Rips off a scene from and I cannot compare this movie to this to Dark Knight Rises. He rips a scene, and I can't think of. I'm angry because I can't even think of the name. Point Break. Mm-hmm. He rips a scene from Point Break, and at the very end towards the end of the movie, Love It, whatever the fuck his name is.
Lyle Lovett.
Lyle pulls out his badge, looks at it, and then he goes, tosses it over for no reason. Like he doesn't want to be a cop. He could, like, later on, he turns in his stuff and
he's
says,
gonna become Robin.
Yeah, but he does this whole fucking. He rips a scene for those two. Just really that's like -5 stars.
Understood,
that scene, and I'm not. There's moments in that movie that were kind of cool, I guess. But I haven't even. I don't even remember.
Dark Knight Rises, the third one.
Oh, that's terrible. Like from like minute 1 to the last. Second,
but those two scenes,
horrible.
I just don't. I can't understand how those are good. I don't know those two scenes. I don't know. I just wanted to bring that up. Because I commented.
We appreciate the passion, Rustin. It's
just the peeking out.
I hate those two scenes.
Even the limiter
really disgust.
Well, after The Dark Knight, let's get on to some less controversial shit here. I watched a movie called James White, directed by Josh Mond, from 2015. And this movie stars an actor who was on Girls in the first 2 seasons, whose fucking name I can't remember, but he actually left Girls because he had a problem with Lena Dunham, or they had creative differences about where his character should go, so he quit. And then he came back for 1 episode in the last season.
Is that show still good?
It's okay. I'd say the last season was probably the best season since 2.
I'm not a huge fan of hers, to be completely honest.
I like Lena Dunham, actually. And they were talking about her on the other podcast I listened to, and talking about how she gets criticized for being naked a lot. And the reason she gets criticized is not because she's being naked. If she were thin and attractive, everybody would be okay with it. But it's the fact that she's naked and not thin.
Yeah.
And I think it's a good point. It's like total bullshit. It's like a double standard, you know. Mm-hmm. And I like her. I think she's funny. I think the show is funny. And I mean, I'm invested in it now, so I wouldn't stop watching. And it's only got 1 season left anyway.
Oh wow.
But it's good. Anyways, James White, the film, directed by Josh Mond, is good. It's quite good, actually. It's an independent film about a young man who's like kind of like aimless in life, and he lives in New York, and his mother is dying of cancer, and he has to kind of decide whether or not to like spend his time. His priorities are all fucked up. Like he doesn't know whether to spend his time helping her, taking care of her, or like doing his own thing, like trying to find a job or like partying or whatever. And it's pretty realistic portrayal of, or I imagine it's a realistic portrayal of that kind of like decision making process. Like, it's not as cut and dry as you might think. You know, a lot of people, you think like, oh, the right thing to do would be to help his mother. And that may be true, like in a judgmental way, but you don't know what you do in that situation. And that's the way I approached it. Was, you know, this guy is a normal, you know, late 20s, like kind of, you know, aimless in life, doesn't know what he wants to do, has like broad ideas, dreams, but like doesn't have the discipline to follow them, and so he's not necessarily ready to sacrifice everything to take care of his mother. And so I don't know, it's good. It's like a character study. I mean, it's, you know, it's fine. I would recommend it, but I mean, it's not like something you need to run out and see. After that, I rewatched Snatch, directed by Guy Ritchie from 2000. And I wrote in my Letterboxd review that Guy Ritchie just wants to be Tarantino so bad. And this is one of those, you always hear about the post-Pulp Fiction movies, the ones that look like Pulp Fiction and sound like Pulp Fiction and are just trying to do everything that Tarantino is doing.
Yeah.
This is the one. This is the only one that I 100% agree with that about. And
what other ones did they bring up?
I've heard Way of the Gun talked about that way, which I also don't understand. Usual Suspects, all kinds of movies, all kinds of different crime films. Pretty much anything that was a crime film that came out after 94 is usually, not including stuff like Heat, obviously, but like these kind of like ones that try to inject comedy or some kind of like, you know, snappy dialogue, quippy shit, like that. And Snatch is the most egregious offender. It's nonstop, like people talking a mile a minute, saying things that they would never say, talking about shit that has nothing to do with the plot, nothing to do with anything. It's like Pulp Fiction, they're talking about burgers at the beginning and everything. It's got nothing to do with anything. It's just interesting, fun dialogue to listen to. And you could read into it that it's telling about Travolta's character or whatever, but it's on the surface it's got nothing to do with anything. And this movie, it's got nothing to do with anything, and it doesn't read into anybody's character because there is no characterization in this movie. It's literally like everybody's painted in extremely broad strokes. The direction is really uninteresting, unlike something like Guy Ritchie's first film, Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels. Even though I haven't seen it in like 10 years, I just remember it being a lot better directed, like really like interesting stuff. Like they have a lot of like super slow-mo and stuff like that, and that's interesting for that time because not a lot of people were doing that. And this movie is just like a Prodigy music video. I mean, it's just like it's so hyper and all over the place and not interesting to watch, not fun to watch. The acting is boring. Like all the characters are boring. They're just parodies. Like they all have these ridiculous names like Bullet Tooth Tony and Brick Top and all these. It's like ridiculous, like noir-esque, Dick Tracy villain names. Yeah. And I don't know. I wasn't a big fan of it. I could watch Brad Pitt in anything though. He's great in this. He really is. He's the redeeming quality of this movie is his performance. It's funny. He's kicking ass and shit. He's like beating people up and shit like that. And
need to have a shite.
Exactly. Yeah. So Brad Pitt rules, but other than that, I can't get into this.
I still
real
can.
POS of a movie.
I still like. I watched it not too long ago, and I still enjoy it.
You're dumb, so I'm just kidding.
I watched it a few years ago. It was okay.
It's just not for me anymore. I thought I remember loving it when I saw it in the theater,
I completely agree with you on the it coming off as just like copying moments and ideas from Pulp Fiction.
It slams you over the head with it. It's like it's just like it's so in your face. It also, I feel like it's the kind of movie where you need to pick a time to watch it. Like you don't want to watch this out of nowhere. Like you need to be ready for it too, because it's like it's so like it's just like flying in your face nonstop.
It's British. It's British Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, exactly. So but
I killed that movie. I think we've seen that like 300 times.
I still enjoy it, but I can't watch it anymore because I watched it a lot when I was younger. I really loved it. So
I could do one more. It's real short. All right. I watched a documentary called Deceptive Practice: The Mysteries and Mentors of Ricky Jay from 2012. I don't know who directed this. I didn't write it down, but this movie is okay. It's a documentary about Ricky Jay, the magician and actor, who you might know from Paul Thomas Anderson movies, or he was in Last Days. He played the private detective. He's in Heist. He's in a lot of Mammoth films. He's great. The movie's not that great. It's a lot of interviews with him talking about the history of magic, which is like mildly interesting, but only takes you so far. Like I feel like it could have been like a 35-minute like PBS special, honestly. Yeah.
History of magic, as in like
the illusion, like the art of illusion, like the magicians, card tricks, magic, shit like that. Okay. Yeah, exactly. He's a sleight of hand like master, and that's interesting, but they don't spend nearly enough time on like him explaining that. So or
it's not like talking about controversies like Thorn Elemental. Is it too powerful of a card? Or
no, it's not talking about Thorn Elementals.
That would be kind of badass.
Green versus red.
I'd watch that documentary.
I would watch that.
That's still my favorite card. I love it.
No, it's not talking about Magic the Gathering, but this movie is it's all right. It's on Netflix if you're interested in it. It's I gave it a 3 out of 5.
Cool. You good?
I'm good. I'm done
Rustin?
for now.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and do my next one, which it's going to be short because this is a rewatch. I had a couple of rewatches before, but basically on the 7th of April, I rewatched Star Wars: The Force Awakens. I bought the Blu-ray. It's a Blu-ray plus DVD special limited edition steel box from Best Buy.
Why do they even do that?
The steel box is badass.
Cover is who's on the cover? Is it
the cover? The cover is just one side has Kylo, and the other side has Captain Phasma, just in like his dark metallic.
Oh yeah,
look.
Allison got that.
It looks really good. And just basically a rewatch. I still have the same score, 4.5. I still enjoy it. I mean,
now did that go up for you on the second time you saw it in the theater, or was it always a 4.5?
That was always a 4.5.
Okay,
so far
didn't
it
go
dropped.
up for you, or was it just a 4?
I think it's always been a 4.
Okay.
So far, yeah.
I've only seen
I
it
mean,
once.
I think over time, it might drop just if I see it enough, but I still enjoy it a lot, and I'm looking forward to Rogue One and the next episode 8.
Apparently, Rogue One has a lot of problems or something.
No, Rogue One
Was that-
tested poorly, so they wanted the studio ordered
Oh.
reshoots, and apparently it tested poorly because it was too dark and serious.
Oh, bullshit. Come on.
So I don't know what that even. I mean, who knows what that means? But
Come on.
whatever. I don't know.
Anyway.
We'll see.
All right. Well,
I'm sure they tested Force Awakens, and audiences loved it, and then it came out, and we all liked it. So I don't have a problem with testing necessarily.
all right.
I mean, they tested Batman.
They test all movies.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, but they don't change all of them based on testing. But anyway, a Disney movie, obviously, they're going to.
I swear to God, I talked about these movies in the last
Which
podcast. Heathers and 12 Monkeys. I swear to you.
Talk to me about those.
I don't care. I'm just gonna blast through them and then get
Blast
to
through them, buddy.
Okay. Heathers gave a 3. Pretty funny at points and over the top ridiculous 80s movie, teen movie.
And Winona's in that, right?
Winona Ryder, yeah.
I love Winona in the 80s, in the early 90s.
It's funny. It's
Reality
it's a pretty
Bites.
funny movie. 12 Monkeys gave a 4.
Dracula.
Oh, yeah. 12 Monkeys, you gave a 4.
Give a 4, yeah.
That's embarrassing.
No.
That's a 5 out of 5.
No,
I've
I'm
ever
sorry,
seen it.
4.25. Give it a 4.25.
joke.
And I gave it a like. I don't know.
It's a masterpiece
It's
to
dated
me.
as fuck. Like
I
it is like the
disagree.
most 90s movie ever.
I disagree.
it's like it's 90s the movie.
Why? What does that even mean? How is it 90s?
I don't know, dude. It is.
Because he shoots with wide-angle lenses?
Yeah.
So it reminds you of a skateboarding video.
Yes.
So you can't separate the two, and the fact that Terry Gilliam invented that shit.
don't care.
And that skateboarders ripped
Doesn't-
that shit off of him.
Doesn't matter. It's a great fucking movie. 4.25. But yeah, the soundtrack accordion thing, it kind of pissed me off.
Dun, 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 dun,
Like
dun,
I was
dun,
just
dun,
like,
dun.
it was like I was just like,
I love
was
that
like,
shit.
please
You don't love the
fucking-
score?
No, it's horrible.
Oh my god.
I hate it.
I love the score.
Hate.
I'm not even kidding. Like, I'm not trying to antagonize
Hate
you. I
it.
love the score.
That's fine.
The thing I hate the most about the movie is Madeline Stowe.
It would do that.
Yeah.
I'm just like, oh my god, stop it! Like it would just do it at random. I'm just like, Jesus fucking Christ!
It's great. It lends a surreal atmosphere.
I
to the
don't
whole
care.
movie.
Fuck me, it's bad.
How'd you feel about Madeline Stowe?
Who is she? The
The
main
only woman in the movie.
one?
Her name's Madeline.
She wasn't that bad.
I didn't like her.
I mean, she was okay.
When she pronounces advertisement as advertisement. Like, what was that? Who says advertisement?
I don't
Okay,
know.
Sean Connery.
Yeah.
Old adversary.
Anyway, give that a 4. After
And I'm sorry, real quick.
4.25. Sorry.
Bruce Willis's best performance of all time.
No, Die Hard,
I disagree.
dude.
Acting wise, this is his best
I mean,
performance.
Okay, yeah,
Okay, thank you.
I can agree with that.
We're good now.
He's beast in Die Hard, though. I mean,
Best blood scene of
He's
all time.
okay in
he's not
Die
really
Hard.
trying in.
I
Die
would
Hard,
say
though.
he's better in Die Hard with a Vengeance than he is in Die Hard.
He's not really trying.
The
Yeah.
Die Hard-
He's almost like an amateur actor in Die Hard. He's only done like one other thing.
I'm actually forgetting about the scenes in 12 Monkeys when they're in the institution or whatever, and like Brad Pitt's like, you know,
I
he
think
meets Brad
that's
Pitt.
more like a showcase for Brad Pitt.
Yeah,
But
I mean,
I like the scenes when he's talking to Madeline Stowe, especially when he's in the car and she says the whole advertisement bullshit, and he's like talking about how like I used to listen to this song, or like we don't have music where I come from, and he's like almost crying when A
Yeah.
Beautiful World comes on.
Yeah.
That's awesome. He's great. That
Yeah.
movie is a fucking amazing.
It's good. It's a little dated for me, but it's good. I mean that sounds condescending. It's whatever. It's dated, but like it's good. It's a good movie. It's fucking good. Watch 12 Monkeys. It's amazing. After that, we watched High-Rise. Me and John.
Oh yeah, we watched High Rise. This
Oh.
was a big disappointment.
This is a massive letdown. Like goddamn.
I
directed
heard
by-
it was
directed
like,
by,
all over.
Ben Wheatley. It's from last year, or the year before maybe. It's played festivals then, but now
I
it's
got
out.
no Wheatley in this.
I got a little Wheatley.
I mean, a little, but like
Honestly, I felt like parts of it were very reminiscent of A Field in England,
but like not to the
but what just wasn't good. Not like A Field in England.
It's like A
was
Field
good.
in England was like, for me personally, really, really good. And it's like he did so much with so little. and now he's got a massive budget, and he makes this subtle,
comparatively massive.
Yeah, whatever. But this subtle, boring.
I thought it was going to be
slog fest. I mean,
when I heard about the movie, I looked up the book, and I'm thinking, okay, this book is about class warfare, and it's about the people in the low floors are poor, and the people in the high floors are rich, and there's going to be some kind of like
bloodbath,
mutiny, some kind of war between them, and that's what they said. It's like a battle between these two classes, and I'm like, this is going to be great.
Yes. And
there is really very little of that in the movie. I don't know how the book plays. I've never read it, but I read like the first chapter when I worked at the library. Wasn't impressed with it, to be honest. But I like there's no, I hate to say it, like this makes it sound trite or retarded, but like there's no action in this movie.
Yeah.
Like I wanted there to be scenes of the guy who's the poor people raiding the rich people, and it really drives home the idea that there is a class division in the building, that there are poor people and rich people, but there's almost no direct conflict between them throughout the whole movie, it seems.
And they set it up to where like the new guy comes in and it's like, he's going to be the one who like
he's going to have to choose a side almost.
Yeah, and it's like, but nothing happens.
It's so esoteric and like psychedelic and shit. It's like hard to. There's no. You want to follow this guy on that journey, and you want to say, okay, well, is he gonna abandon? Like he's a doctor, but he's gonna abandon the rich people to fight with the commoners or whatever. But there's nothing like that. It's just this weird mishmash of like love affairs and these boring slow-mo shots of like nothingness happening, and like Jeremy Irons in there like makes, I don't know what he's doing, like what I don't know what his character is there for. It's very hard to get into. I was very disappointed.
Yeah, 2.5.
I gave it also a 2.5.
Just not good. Wouldn't recommend it.
No.
But yeah, that'll do it for me for now.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I watched Anomalisa, 2015, directed by Charlie Kaufman, and I don't want to say a lot about this movie because I don't want to ruin it for people who haven't seen it, including people in this room. But this is a masterpiece. This is the best Charlie Kaufman movie I've seen.
Whoa!
And it's absolutely incredible. It's stop motion animated. I think the guy who does Moral Oral worked on it. I can't remember his name. I may be totally wrong about that, to be honest, but I'm pretty sure that's who it is. It's very, very good for a lot of reasons that I can't really go into without spoiling it, so I won't. But
better than Synecdoche? Really?
I've only seen Synecdoche once, and I've been meaning to rewatch it. I actually meant to rewatch it before we recorded, but right now I would say yes, having not rewatched Synecdoche for 2 years or whatever, 3 years. But better than anything he's written, I think. Also better than adaptation. Certainly better than Malkovich and the George Clooney movie, Confessions of a Dangerous Mind. I'm not a big fan of Malkovich anyway. I don't know, it gets a lot of love from the hipster community, I guess, but I'm just not into it. But I do like adaptation a lot. But Synecdoche was great, but this is better.
I mean, adaptation's good, but like Synecdoche is like next level. I don't know.
I'm okay with that.
I do want to see this though.
You need to. It's easily accessible online.
The trailer for it just turned me off. I was just like, stop motion, like it just looks like something from like 2006. Like I don't know, it just looks.
You need to watch it.
Hipstery.
It's
like,
not what you
it's
think.
It's just weird looking.
It's
I don't know.
Nothing like what you think.
Okay, good.
Somebody, and you would ask me if it was necessary that it be stop motion animated.
Yeah. And
it's so necessary. Like it's in the core of its being. It wouldn't make any sense if this movie wasn't stop motion. So
that's good.
I rewatched Heist from 2001 by David Mamet film. Love Heist. Love David Mamet. Don't have a lot to say about it. Ricky Jay's also in this one. Danny DeVito's good in it. He plays the villain, which is fun. You don't see him playing a lot of like super villainous types recently. It's just a great like crime movie. It doesn't have a lot of like. It doesn't have a lot of substance or anything. It's just like a fun procedural, like how to be a criminal, and it's good stuff. It's what you would expect from Mamet. I gave it a 4.5 out of 5. Then I rewatched There's Something About Mary, which is the Farrelly brothers from 1998.
Wow.
Ben Stiller and Cameron Diaz is a famous comedy. It's fine. I don't know. Comedies are... Like, how can you watch a comedy more than once? There's just nothing there anymore. Like, I watched this movie, and I was like, I remember this movie being so funny. And I'm sure it was when I first watched it, but now it's just like, I know everything's comedy. It's not funny anymore. Mm-hmm. Like, there's nothing funny going on. And there's a lot of courtesy laughing involved. Like, I feel like I'm obligated to laugh at parts. Like, I'll see this part, I'll be like, oh, I remember that's, like, the funniest thing to me in the world when I was a kid. So I should probably laugh at this part. And it's like, it's not that I'm thinking about it that deeply, but there is that, like, just below the surface level, like, oh, this is the part you're supposed to laugh at. And it's not great. I
feel like comedy changes too. Like,
style, definitely.
Comedy
styles.
in 1998 is probably not as funny as, like, Deadpool.
There are certain things about, like, now, I don't want to say that there were no parts of this where I didn't laugh genuinely. Like, there's a part at the end when, I don't know, not to spoil it, this means a 25-year-old movie, but or 20-year-old movie, whatever. But when Ben Stiller at the end, he's making out with what's her face, Cameron Diaz. They've just gotten together, and this old man character comes out with a sniper rifle, and he's gonna shoot him because he wants to be with Mary, and he ends up shooting the guy who's singing the songs through the whole movie, Jonathan Richman. Mm-hmm. That was pretty funny. That's all I got. He shoots him in the shoulder.
Use you to get to Mary.
Exactly. He shoots him. No, I thought that was quite good. And I mean, stuff with Matt Dillon is kind of funny. Like, all of his, like, when he says I work with retards, like that, like he's trying to be charming and like comes
off as really offensive.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Actually, the first time I ever heard anyone use this, he said, "Oh, so what? You think your shit don't stink?" That's the first time I'd ever heard that, and it. I thought that was, like, mind-blowingly hilarious. I was like, that is so good. I was like 9 or something. I don't remember how old I was. 10.
After that, I went to the theater with a friend of mine and watched Everybody Wants Some, the newest Linklater film, which is better than Boyhood. Oh. Suck it, Boyhood fans. Oh. No, Boyhood's good, but this is better to me. It's a quote-unquote spiritual successor to Dazed and Confused. I think it's better than Dazed and Confused, but I'm not the biggest fan of that movie. Not to say I don't like it. I mean, I like it, but this is just slightly better. It's about college baseball in the 80s. This new guy who comes in, he's a pitcher, I think, and he's going to live in the dorms with it's just a house, essentially, like a frat house kind of, and he's going to live in this house with all the baseball players, and following in Linklater's footsteps is just a very, like, his aesthetic is, there's no plot, there's no conflict, it's just them hanging out, and it's fucking great. Like, I can't even explain what's great. It's funny, and it's like you could just watch these guys all day. Everything they do is interesting to me for some reason. I'm like, I hate jocks, I hate sports, but, like, it's just fascinating. It's just like we always talk about how we're not into sports, but, like, the 30 for 30 documentaries are incredibly interesting. Mm-hmm. I could watch those all day, every day. And I don't know. There's not a whole lot of sports in this movie, to be honest. I mean, it's not like a sports drama or anything. It's just these guys living and interacting with each other, and some of them pissing each other off, but other ones, getting along, and their unending quest for pussy and trying to get drunk every night, and, like, it's just like, what you imagine college life would be like for a sports guy who's on a scholarship or whatever. So I liked it a lot. It's pretty great. I'll be buying it instantly when it comes out because I really want to rewatch it.
Sweet.
Rustin?
Okay, the next couple I'm going to breeze over because I honestly don't remember a lot of the details. It's been so long, and it's maybe only, I don't know if anyone would be interested here on these, but I watched 2 movies almost back to back. I was just getting over finishing the on Hulu the whole animated series of Bleach. Really got sucked into it. I get sucked into these, especially if they've got kind of like that DBZ feel where you're constantly getting stronger to fight the next.
Where people's chins aren't moving, but their mouths are.
Yeah. I'm really getting into that stuff. But anyways, the first one I watched is in 2008. I think it was released. And let me see if there's any more information. It's directed by Noriyuki Abe.
Noriyuki, who gives a fuck? I'm just kidding.
And it'd be Flayed.
Fellatio.
No. Fade
Fellatio
to
Sands.
Black. Kimi no na Yobu.
Wait, what is it? What is this? Bleach?
Bleach.
A movie?
Yes, a movie
Okay.
based on a movie that's
I
taken
see.
from the. It's basically has nothing to do with the storyline. It's basically like most of the Dragon Ball Z movies,
Like,
which were
or
just
like Cowboy
separate,
Bebop.
separate standalone things that have nothing to do with the main storyline you're watching on the show.
Like Tree of Might.
Yeah,
5 out of 5.
Fuck yeah.
but anyways, brief story. Basically, I don't really feel like explaining the story because
That's okay. We don't feel like hearing
But
it.
but anyways, for people who do like the show, it's basically Ichigo goes back to the. Okay, I'm just gonna stop.
No. It's okay.
Okay, so the main character Ichigo, who is a substitute Soul Reaper. See, I'm not gonna be able to explain this. For people who know what I'm talking about, he goes to the Soul Society, helps protect it from these two.
Wait, what is the plot of this?
What?
He's explaining the plot.
Now, what is the plot of Bleach?
Bleach.
It's about Ichigo, who's a substitute Soul Reaper.
The plot of Bleach is basically it's a young like 15-year-old dude who of course yeah
Can't be adults.
No. He has some special abilities where he can kind of sense the presence of spirits and ghosts, and he can talk to them.
Nice.
Okay.
And
What's it
he
called,
finds
Bleach?
out later that there's actually this whole like society in, I guess, like I don't know if it's based off of Shinto. I haven't dwelled deeply to see what it's based off of, but like maybe the Shinto religion, like it's a society of the dead that kind of like, helps souls go to the afterlife or whatever. And they have these people, a group called Soul Reapers, which basically look like samurais. They have swords called Zanpakutos, which are swords that are living essentially, and they give them great power, energy, or
What do they do?
They go and they fight basically demons, what they call hollows, that are basically just entities without souls, and they have usually a hole on their body, like a void hole. And
For fucking.
yeah, exactly. I was waiting for that to go.
It's like demon souls.
But these
I love
things
the
they
fuck
go
a
and
void
they
hole.
these things.
the brain hole.
Wow.
Or pull your soul and fuck the void hole.
Okay. All right. So these hollows,
Dan Aykroyd.
they go throughout the world, and they basically no one can sense them or see them, but they go after dead spirits that haven't moved on, or they, in some cases, if they're strong enough, they'll actually go after living people. And like if people die mysteriously, these things ate their souls, sucked them in or whatever, and absorbed them.
Like Evil Dead. I'm gonna
Yeah,
swallow
kind of
your
like
soul.
Yeah, kind of like that. And so these Soul Reapers come in, and they basically are there to watch after dead souls and people in the land of the living. And they actually go in and they'll go to the land of the living and fight these hollows. And there's some that are insanely powerful that they need, to team up and fight. And basically, this one girl who goes, she's a Soul Reaper, she accidentally encounters Ichigo, who actually can see her, knows that she's there. And there's this giant hollow that's after his sisters, because they, like him, have this, unusually high spiritual energy. They can see the dead and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Almost like mediums, I guess. But anyway, she's fighting this thing, and she gets badly injured from it, and he runs out to try to help her, and she says, "Get out of here, you're going to get killed." And he says, I want to be able to protect my sisters, basically, my family. And she goes, all right. And she does something which is, I guess, forbidden, but she ends up stabbing him with her sword. Stabbing him with her sword.
It's forbidden.
and actually transferring her power to him. And because of his high spiritual energy, he becomes even more powerful than she is. And so he just wipes the floor with this hollow. And then because of what she did, she's weakened and has to stay there. And so she actually has this little cell phone, which she gets text messages from the land of from the Soul Society, like where a hollow is present. She needs to go take care of it. And so it's basically, since she has your faces,
this is getting worse than
shut up.
Cell phones.
It's okay. Go ahead.
Okay, and so basically he has to do her job, and since she's stuck there with him for a while, she goes with him, tells him where hollows are, and he goes and defeats them, and that's kind of like where the story takes off.
Cool.
And then over time, he goes to the Soul Society, events happen, and he gets more powerful over time.
So let's break this down for real. Did you like this movie?
Yes, I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the show. I gave it a 3.5 because I mean it's not like phenomenal or anything.
Does the show have like 8,000 episodes, like DBZ?
It has. I think it was like 340.
Oh my god!
Yeah, it's a lot.
Wow.
You watched them all?
Yep.
Oh my god.
Okay,
Rustin.
I'm going to jump straight to the next one, which is the another movie, which is 2 years later, called high-rse, where Ichigo goes to the. Basically, he goes.
Still?
He goes to hell to
Hell-verse.
fight these powerful entities.
Hollows,
yeah, and stuff. And
filling those void holes.
I gave it a 3. It was a little less good, but it's still enjoyable for me.
Did he fill some void holes?
Okay, but enough of that about that. I'll do one more, then turn to Jonathan. And the next one I watched was the sequel to The Mummy, The Mummy Returns, which is nowhere near as good.
Oh man,
The CGI is just as bad, even though it's made late. It's made in 2001.
First acting performance of The Rock, Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
Yes, and it's not even like it's just him looking up at the sky, eating a bug, and then becoming CGI.
He's got lines at the beginning, though, right? Doesn't he like say something to his army at the beginning?
Yeah, no, he doesn't say anything like in
it's in
audible.
Egyptian or whatever.
Yes, to me,
Isn't
I don't
Snoop
know.
Dogg in this?
Yeah,
No.
Yeah, he is.
No, he's
No?
not. It's another actor. No, Snoop Dogg was in the little goofy MTV Movie Awards thing that Jack Black did.
We got confused. I thought he was in the movie too.
At least I think it was Jack Black. I don't know, but Snoop Dogg was in that.
The
he
MTV
was the
funny movie awards skit.
Yeah, but
Okay.
it's the good points in this movie is there's even more Rachel Weisz, and there's several scenes where she's in this
Short tits.
thong bikini thing.
No shit.
But
They
it's
show her ass.
I saw little glimpses of it when they're fighting, but I think that might have been just a stunt woman. But she had a nice ass too. But that's really good. And there's some gunplay and some story elements that are entertaining. But all in all, it's a 2.5. It's not that great, and it has at the end one of the funniest and worst scenes I've ever seen in the movie. And I've sent that recently to all of y'all. Made a little meme out of it. It was whenever. Spoiler, I guess. That's not a spoiler. Who cares? Whenever O'Connell is fighting the mummy, he gets the spear of destiny or whatever it's called, stabs the Rock. And kills him. The Rock looks down and is like, oh, I've been stabbed. And then there's a giant wide shot of him holding on to stabbing the Rock for it feels like 5 seconds of just standing there. And then all of a sudden Honor Revolso runs in, stops, kneels down, throws his arms out and goes, nah! It's so bad. I don't understand.
It's very awkward.
Yeah, it's not funny, and I don't know what they were intending with that, or if they even knew what they were doing. They're just, let's just film. All right, that's good. Let's wrap it up.
Yeah, they're probably just trying to beast through it to get it in the theaters.
Yep. But 2.5. It's not good.
Sounds awful.
Like I said, Rachel Weisz is the best thing in that. So anyways,
this is awful, right?
Not good.
It's awful. Would you say
Pretty
this is
bad.
like a terrible movie?
Not terrible, but it's not good.
Okay, go ahead. I was going to call you out because you just said Bleach was pretty great, gave it a 3.5. The second Bleach was not as good, but still good. You liked it, gave it a 3. This movie's terrible, and you gave it a 2.5.
John's the rating police.
But
See,
you just said it wasn't terrible, so it's okay.
It's not a terrible movie. No, it's it's actually the storyline when it is pretty entertaining. It's just that there's just a lot of bad stuff.
Sure.
All right, let's get on to some serious shit.
Okay. Yeah, let's get serious.
Point Break, 1991.
Okay, now let's seriously get into this. Because I'll go on the record right now. Haven't seen Point Break in like 2 years. This is Bigelow's masterpiece. This is the film she should have won Best Director for. This is the film that should have won Best Picture. And I'm not even kidding. This is the best film of 1991. This is a 5 out of 5 for me. And I'm not kidding. It's not ironic. I think this is a gloriously made, incredibly well-directed, edited, acted film. I think it's everybody who's in this movie, it is their best performance of their career, including Keanu Reeves, Gary Busey, Lori Petty, and especially Patrick Swayze.
Swayze is a beast.
He is incredible in this. And James LaGrosse, who plays Roach.
James LaGrosse.
Hey, even War Child.
Even the guy who plays War Child.
That guy is scary.
Much better in this than Cyborg.
Hoist anchor, mates.
And Anthony Kiedis is in this movie, and he's great in it.
Shoots his foot off.
That's right. Yeah. Blows his foot apart with a Desert Eagle.
This movie is really good.
Tread lightly.
Gave it a 4 out of 5. But
you gave it a 4? I thought you gave it a 3.5.
No, 4.
Okay, that's better.
I don't know. Like, it's really good.
Swayze, what I want is
Swayze is really good in this movie.
I agree. What I want is, if this isn't a 5 out of 5, why not? Don't say it's dated.
I mean, it is,
because I've heard enough.
It is. I mean, but
because of the music.
No,
like what makes it dated? The fact that they're like wearing cutoff shorts.
I think for me personally, like Keanu Reeves is a little ridiculous sometimes in this movie.
In this movie?
Yeah. Like he's a good actor. He's a good actor in this movie, but like the whole Bill and Ted shit with his voice is a little much.
He's a surfer in this movie,
but he's not.
But he's playing one.
But he's not at a certain at the beginning, and he's still acting the same. Like he's the same throughout the whole movie. He like went to law school and shit. He's a football player, and he's like, "What's up, bro?" He's like, still, it's. Well, I don't want to nitpick.
Okay. Here's what I'll give you. I agree that his speech patterns.
I feel like he's early. I feel like he's still early in his career, and he just hasn't like laid down.
Okay, hang on though.
You know,
his speech patterns are Southern California. Okay, like specific surfer guy speech patterns. Yeah, and that's just the way he speaks. In John Wick, he still speaks that way. That's just the way he speaks. Now, the biggest problem, I guess, that I'll grant you that this movie has is that his character is said to have come from Ohio or something.
Yeah.
Which doesn't make any sense because of he's clearly like of Hawaiian descent and he talks like he's a surfer.
Yeah.
So I'll agree with you, the opening scene where he's talking to John C. McGinley about how he takes the skin off chicken and stuff like that. Like that's, even though that's an incredibly good scene, I love it. I will agree with you that it doesn't make a lot of sense that he's like surferish even before he's a surfer. Like he's never surfed before. I think they would have done well to make him a surfer beforehand. Like he's already got a history of surfing or something like that. You know, that way it makes more sense that he speaks that way. However, that being said, I don't know. It's still amazing.
I mean, it's great.
No, it's
that
awesome.
foot chase.
Yeah, that's really good.
That is insane.
It's good.
Like I defy you to find a chase scene that is that exciting.
It's good
in any movie. Fuck The French Connection. It's like that movie is incredible.
Calm down, it's good. I don't know. You know,
I recently watched it myself. It was for me it was 4.5 with a like, and the only reason it wasn't 5, and I guess this is nitpicking. When I was watching it on the rewatch, there's that scene like I mentioned this earlier is the scene whenever he's walking off the beach in the end, and he tosses the badge. It was. I mean, it made. I don't recall that in any other movie prior to that, so it wasn't. Maybe it probably wasn't a cliche when it came out, but it just after just over time, it kind of just like that just. And when I see that, I feel.
I understand.
But
that doesn't bother me. That whole scene rules.
But no. But everything up there, whenever he's talking, like it's no good. You've got to go down. I mean all that stuff is.
People
great.
trusted you and they died.
Regardless of how cheesy that sounds, that's badass.
That rules.
It's fucking awesome.
That scene rules though. It's like raining and shit, and yeah, they're in Australia.
I can't take a cage, man. Like
Swayze is hands down the best part of this movie for me though. Like the first time you see him,
awesome.
he's just like fucking. He is that character. Like he is the surfer guy.
It's weird
Like,
how
you want to
it's-
like.
Yeah.
He's a character you want to love, and like you want to root for him, even though he is the bad guy. But he gets to the points where he is scary. Like he's got a really dark bad side. Like if you switch this on, you're fucking dead.
It's
He's
bizarre
like-
to me too, like when you watch other Patrick Swayze movies, how ungood he can be. And yet in this,
Yeah.
he, like you said, he is this. He's the Bodhisattva. Like he is the guy. Like he is Bodhi. And he's so natural. Like his acting is so natural in this. Like it just seems like he is this guy living on the coast. Robbing banks.
Yeah, the bank robbery rules.
Oh yes, spoiler alert: he is the bank robber. You don't know that till halfway through the movie, but yeah, the bank robbery sequence at the near the end.
I was a little let
Incredible.
down though, like rewatching because I hadn't seen it in probably since I was 12 or 13 or something. I thought there were more bank robberies.
No,
Like I don't know why. Like
just the two,
There's
huh?
just two, yeah. And the second one's like just like when the shit hits the fan or whatever. I thought there were more, so I was like kind of expecting there to be more. But
the great thing about it is that there's so many great action set pieces in between. Like when they raid the other people's house because they think they're the bank robbers, the foot chase, technically there is another robbery, you don't see it. The one that they get whenever he orders a meatball sandwich and then they drive away, they rob that bank.
And also there's a small in that scene. There was also a small cameo from what's his name?
Tom Sizemore.
He was badass.
I think
in
it's
that
his
scene. He was
second
really
or third
good.
movie. Catherine Bigelow gave him his start. He was his first movie was in Blue Steel. He played the guy who robbed the grocery store and got shot by Jamie Lee Curtis, and he's so good in that too. Tom Sizemore, what a tragedy. He's so good. Yeah, I remember when I was like 15, 16, I used to make like top 10 actors lists, and he was always on there. I was like, Tom Sizemore's the shit. It was always like these like ridiculous like sideline actors, like character actors, like John C. McGinley, John C. Reilly, Luis Guzman, Tom Sizemore, Chris Penn, just like all these ridiculous actors. I don't know why I always chose people like that, but that was always like who I was really into back then, like John Cazale, shit like that. But yeah, I love this
it's
movie.
funny. But yeah, it's really good.
Well, hopefully, after you watch it about 6-7 more times, like I have,
This is only the second time I've seen
you'll
it.
catch up to my rating.
But yeah,
I understand.
It's good.
At least you liked it. If you didn't like it, we'd have a problem. I don't know if I could be friends with you anymore. So I have to
Wow.
end a 20-year friendship over a fucking movie,
Over Point Break,
and I will.
the original.
Breakpoint.
I actually have been mildly curious to watch the remake.
No, don't.
You mean Breakpoint?
Don't.
Did you watch it?
I watched half of it, and me and Elson turned it off. We couldn't.
I might check it out.
I very rarely do this, where I'll stop a movie.
No, it's not a
was like,
remake. It's
no,
it's
horrible.
Breakpoint.
Yeah, it's Breakpoint. Yeah, if it came on like HBO or something, I'd probably watch it. I'm not gonna lie.
Don't go out of your way.
I won't. I'm not gonna like download it or like go rent it or anything. After high-rse, which was the last movie that I watched high-rse after Everybody Wants Some, anyways. Rewatched Comic-Con Episode 4, A Fan's Hope, directed by Morgan Spurlock from 2011. This movie's okay. If you're into comics and like comic nerd culture, it's like probably like a wet dream for you or something to watch this. Very, very pandery, very, nothing critical about any of these people or what they do. It's all about how cool they are and how they're not douches, and they deserve respect and they want respect. And it's kind of like one of those episodes of True Life where like, I'm trying to get respect for my sect, it's like, but it follows a guy who's going to propose to his girlfriend at the Kevin Smith Q&A. Woman who's a costume designer, like cosplay designer, but she's like pretty extreme. Have you seen this movie?
No.
It's on Hulu. It's good. She designs. She wants to like work as a costumer in the movies, and so she's doing this as kind of like a means to that, like to get noticed. And
Cool.
In the movie, she does costumes for like when they do costumes, they have to go out on stage and like perform a little skit as the characters. So she makes these incredibly elaborate, extremely detailed and authentic costumes from Mass Effect 2.
Oh yeah.
And she's the woman in the game. I don't know. They show pictures of them from the
Female
game.
shepherd.
Okay,
I don't know.
and she looks just like her. And then she makes there's like an alien in the game who like has the space suit and like what he's got like a big head and
The blue.
I don't know what his name is. He's
Oh,
like, he's
guy.
like a lizard guy. It's
Oh,
like,
that's I remember his last name, Vicarious. It's been a while, but I love the Mass Effect series.
okay. So she makes an animatronic head for this
Wow.
guy to wear. I
Wow.
mean, it looks incredible. Like this shit looks incredible. It's very impressive.
Could
By
she
herself?
make me a full shepherd outfit? I would kill to have that. I mean, I want to wear that.
Who is
the
Shepherd?
shepherd.
He's like the main character.
The main character, like the shepherd in 7 armor.
Okay, well, there's a guy. She also makes the suit for the guy who is like. They show part of the cinematic. It's from the game, and there's like a guy smoking a cigarette, and he's in like a future suit, but it's like a 3-piece suit, but it's like clearly like futuristic, and he's like talking. So they make that. She makes that guy's suit.
The alien, his name is Garrus.
Okay, Garrus, and it's really incredible, and they win obviously because it's. Like,
She made it all by herself.
She has help, but she designs everything and like
Oh, wow.
comes up with everything, and so it's pretty impressive. I mean, it's very impressive. And then it also follows 2 different comic book artists who are trying to get hired by big comic studios to do artwork. One of them is like an Air Force guy, and one of them is just like this bartender, kind of losery guy who lives with his parents. And the Air Force guy gets hired by.
Oh man.
It's not Dark Horse, but I want to say it's like somebody like a subsidiary of Dark Horse or something, and he gets hired to like do freelance work. Like they want him to draw a cover for him, and he's like, "This is great," and he's very good. He draws the Hulk and shit, and he's like really, it's impressive. It looks like a comic book. The other guy, his work is also impressive, but it turns out when he's showing his portfolio around, like people aren't as impressed with it, and I'm like, I was kind of wondering, I was like, why do people not like? And I've seen this movie before, so I remember, but like. I remember the first time I saw it, I was like, why aren't they like liking this guy's stuff? It's great. And they're like, do you draw from something? Do you like look at things when you draw? And he's like, yeah, I take photos of people like in poses and stuff to get the poses. So like he'll take a picture of like his girlfriend, leaping through the air and then draw that as Wonder Woman or whatever.
Oh,
and
I
so
see.
they're like, yeah, you shouldn't do that. You should get to the point where you can draw without, because there's going to be inevitably there are going to be things that you have to draw that you can't take a picture of.
Oh wow.
And so they won't hire him, and they don't like him. And
Damn.
he goes back and he decides to start working on his own graphic novel, which I was like, I remember the whole movie thinking, if I could draw like these guys, fuck a studio. Like, I'd just be drawing my own shit, self-publish.
Yeah.
Like, oh my god,
2016, dude. Start your own
seriously,
shit.
like, oh my god, or just go on like.
There's probably like, I know there's like comic book websites where you download shit for like money, like Bandcamp equivalent of comic books. I'm sure there's stuff like that,
Well, yeah, I mean, there's different there's a lot of different minor studios too that like will
Yeah.
I've just recently been reading a lot of shit on Humanoids. They put out all of Jodorowsky's stuff, and they're not. I wouldn't say they're minor, but I mean they're definitely not like Marvel or anything, and they're putting out a lot of like really adult graphic novels, and I don't mean like sexual, although some of them are, but just comics that aren't for kids at all. Like they're not superhero stories or anything. Anyways, and the kid proposes to his girlfriend at the Kevin Smith thing, and it's it's all heartwarming and whatever. It's fine. It's a good movie. I'd watch it if
I'll check it out.
I'd encourage you to watch it if you're at all interested in this kind of thing. Anyway, I after that I watched Bubble, which I had bought on DVD at a pawn shop. It's a Steven Soderbergh film from 2005, and it's an experiment with non-actors. So he wrote this story around these. I'm sorry, he didn't write the story. There's a female who wrote the story. I can't remember her name. She wrote the script around these around this town in I want to say it was also in Ohio or Iowa or something. And it's about these characters who work at this factory where they make doll parts, and there's a crime that happens, and kind of like the first half of the movie is about their everyday lives and what they do in their relationships, and the second half of the movie is about the aftermath of this crime and who did it and all that kind of stuff. And it's actually quite good. You can definitely see like the beginning of his aesthetic using digital, even though this is shot on film, but it looks a lot like his movies that he shoots on the red. Like there's a lot of static shots and
I need to watch more of his
deliberate
stuff. I've
stuff.
seen almost nothing.
Oh, they're incredible. Just I honestly haven't seen anything by him where I was like, this is garbage.
What about Sex, Lies, and Videotape?
I just haven't seen that in so long. I just borrowed it from a friend of mine actually to rewatch. I haven't seen it since I was like 22 or something, but
I've been wanting to see it.
I want to rewatch it soon. I've been trying to get through everything just so I can make a ranked list on.
I'm trying to think of what I've even seen.
You watched Che with me.
Yeah, we watched Che.
Which I didn't love Che, but I want to rewatch that too.
I've seen that the action film.
Haywire?
Yeah, I've seen that. That was okay.
Traffic?
Seen Traffic's amazing. That's 5 out of 5.
Ocean's 11?
No, I haven't seen that.
I don't know, man. Out of Sight?
Yeah. Out of Sight's good.
I love Out of Sight. A lot of people don't love it, but I think it's great. He's great. I mean, Soderbergh's amazing. And The Nick,
The Nick is incredible.
Yeah, I watched the whole first season. You're in the middle of it.
When I'm done, I'll let Rustin borrow it.
Sure, yeah, it's great. It's a medical drama but it takes place in 1900.
Wow.
So they have no fucking clue what they're doing.
That's cool.
It's so disturbing.
Yeah, it's pretty fucked.
Like I'm so happy I live in 2016.
Yeah,
like,
it's really you feel like if you live back then, it's just like you're lucky to live to 30. You know,
30 is like 60.
Oh, I'd literally be dead.
So anyway, after I watched Bubble, which I gave a 4.5, I think it was great. I kept on Soderbergh and I watched Full Frontal from 2002 for the first time. I'd always wanted to see this. Just because it's Soderbergh and it has David Hyde Pierce and Nicky Katt, who are like two actors that I really like. I didn't see it probably because it had Julia Roberts, which turned me off. But now she doesn't bother me as much anymore recently. And so I watched it and she's okay in it. The movie's not that great. It's very experimental. It's like shot on I think it's shot on like a Canon XL1 and it really looks like it. It's like nothing's done to the footage. Like it's real raw looking. And it's about. It's hard to explain what it's about. It's about the industry, Hollywood, and part of it is shot on 35, but that's like a movie within the movie. It's kind of hard to explain, and a lot of it's very meta. And like Soderbergh's in the movie at one point as himself. Like it's kind of strange, but and just that alone, that element of it, and the experiment of it. It's worth watching for that. The fact that Soderbergh is one of the few directors experimenting, and like who doesn't acknowledge that he has a style. I think he just feels like I'm still trying to figure things out. I think he'll always still try to figure things out, and he wants to try different things.
I mean, he seems like one of the few directors he's like kind of all over the place.
Yeah.
He feels like Herzog. Like if Herzog didn't care about.
Yeah, sort of. Yeah, I could see that.
If he didn't care about film as much, he's just kind of like, I'll shoot on digital.
But he shot on digital.
He did, yeah.
On not all the way, but on Bad Lieutenant, parts of that are in digital.
Yeah.
The shots of the iguanas.
I think he's still very film. Like he's.
Oh yeah,
he's
said that if you don't shoot on film, it's not a real movie.
Yeah.
Anyway, but I mean, it doesn't mean anything. It's just something someone said. I liked Full Frontal. I didn't love it. After that, I rewatched Searching for Bobby Fischer. Probably seen this movie a dozen times. It's incredible. It fluctuates for me. Sometimes I don't like it as much, but this time it really was great. And I had watched a documentary about Bobby Fischer and the movie Pawn Sacrifice with Tobey Maguire, and both of those were good. And this just kind of built on that, or those informed my viewing of this time, and it was very, very good. I love it. Love Searching for Bobby Fischer, directed by Steve Zalian, I believe. And finally, last one on this page, I watched Chappie, 2015, directed by Neil Blomkamp, which I'm pretty sure both of you have seen. Did you see Chappie?
Uh-uh.
Oh, well, Jonathan saw it.
Shitstorm.
Chappie is, honestly, I gave it a 3 out of 5, and thinking back on it, I'm not really sure why it got that high of a rating, because I really didn't like it very much.
I gave it a 2.
Yeah. It's not like it's horrible or anything, and some of the effects are good. They're honestly not as good as I thought they were going to be. I think Elysium looked better.
Really?
I think Elysium looked better.
Right?
Yeah.
It's really... And the whole... I'm forgetting their name. The rap group, whatever.
Die Antwoord?
Yeah.
Or D Antwoord?
Please, no. Like, the whole time I'm like... Every time they're on the screen, I'm just like, no.
The girl, I didn't mind. The guy was very obnoxious.
Yeah.
Like, extremely obnoxious. And to the point where, like I thought he was going to warm up and be like kind of like a fatherly figure to Chappie, but he's just a complete asshole the whole time. But he's also played sympathetic to a lot of the movie. Like, he's one of the main heroes of the film, I'd say. But he's like a total dick. Like, I wanted this guy to get shot like the whole movie. And then the action sequence at the end is really like uninspired and boring. And I'd say that the thing that was most interesting to me about this whole movie was when he links all the PS4s together to get the. He links a bunch of PS4s together to use their computing power to like compute a personality, like because like to essentially take a human brain and put it on hard drive space. And like they can't even. He's got like 15 of them together, and they can't. They're like struggling to do it. They're like overheating and shit. I thought that was pretty interesting, because that's like kind of mirrors like the military does that shit, right? They use PS4s for stuff. I've read anyway. I've read that they do. They have like hundreds of them.
I thought it was like medical research or something like that.
Maybe
being like if you could like go online and like donate your PS3 like computing power over the internet for some kind of like neural.
I had seen a picture once of like it was some kind of like government facility, and they had like hundreds of them like linked up like in a room.
Oh wow,
yeah,
that's crazy.
But whatever. I don't know, who gives a shit? Like,
yeah, it's garbage.
Not worth talking about.
That dude is not very
That's
good at
it.
making movies.
I got maybe 20 more on the next page.
Wow.
I'm gonna do one real quick.
I'll do one after you.
Alien.
Original Ridley Scott, 79?
Yes.
Okay. Harry Dean?
2 out of 5. No, I'm kidding. 4.25.
What is a 5 for you, Jonathan?
Andrei Rublev.
Jesus Christ.
I'm really trying to like hammer down my scaling here.
I understand. I'm not actually kidding. I don't.
No, I'm being serious.
Alien wouldn't be a 5 out of 5 for me, I don't think.
I just want to like
it's very good,
I just want to like put this out there. Like I'm really trying to be like harsh on everything. Not like, I mean, not harsh,
not
but
excessively.
like just stern.
Mm-hmm.
But
realistic.
Exactly. Alien, not perfect. Good though. Excellent. I don't know.
I love
good film. Sigourney Weaver is great in this.
I love I think all the acting is great.
Yeah, really.
Mm-hmm. Even like people who are like nobodies now, like Tom Skerritt,
it's paced really well, especially for like what's happening. There's like nothing happening pretty much for half the movie. I don't know. I feel like there's really nothing really negative to say about it. It just didn't really like blow me away like it did like the first time I saw it, I guess, because you know what's gonna happen, and I don't know. I think it kind of like depends on those kind of like when she's in the escape pod at the end and you see the alien like hiding in the thing, like like you know it's gonna happen. It's just kind of like okay.
It is still kind of nerve-wracking though. I think, even though I know she's not gonna get hurt or anything. But
it looks so fucking good too. The alien coming out like it looked like the suit rules. I want that suit. I would wear that for like every Halloween. That would be amazing. But
you're not tall enough.
Yeah.
I think the guy was like a big skinny African guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's good. Definitely top tier Ridley Scott. I mean,
yes.
One of his 2 good films.
He peaked very early.
But I feel like me and Allison talked for like an hour and a half after we watched this.
I don't like the sound of this.
No, she liked it. We both liked it, but it was
no.
What?
Okay, I feel like you're going towards Prometheus, and I don't want to hear about it.
What?
Okay, you want to rewatch Prometheus?
I already did. It's the next one on my list.
Oh dear God! What? I don't even remember this. You rewatched Prometheus?
Yes. What's wrong? What's that? What?
Did you love it?
No, it's fucking. It's a 1.5.
I was really worried you rewatched it. No. I rewatched it. I think it's like a 4.5.
No. It's actually okay. I'll just say it right now. Prometheus watched it right after this. Gave it a 1.5.
Okay, I must have missed this.
1.5. My review is pile of shit. Period. Me and Allison figured it out though. Okay. The reason Alien is good is because he has the art direction, which he has nothing to do with. It's H.R. Giger. Yeah. He's got that. And it's like, I feel like that is literally like 95% of this movie. Like, it's like, without that, like, I don't even know what the alien would look like. I feel like it would be like un-CGI Prometheus aliens. Or, you know what I mean? Like, it would be like giant white guys. Or, I don't know what it would be. It would be terrible. And with Blade Runner,
are you saying that he didn't have art direction, or he was in charge of art direction on Prometheus? Or are you saying that the art directors on Prometheus were terrible?
I'm just saying he just doesn't. I don't feel like that. Like Prometheus, yeah. There's like no inspiration for Prometheus. There's just like.
Well, now I will say I will not to defend Prometheus, because I couldn't agree more with your review, be a pile of shit. But I have listened and read about Prometheus, people defending it, people saying good things about it.
Yeah.
And it has made me want to sort of revisit it, but I just can't do it because it's so long, and I know, and I just think it's like certain scenes that just make me want to vomit. But the idea of the alien beings in that movie, the proto-humans, as the way that they designed them was that they took the statue of David, and like was it Elvis Presley and other super iconic kind of like Ubermensch, these people who are above humans, essentially, who are so big that they're, so talented that they're more than the average man, and they composited them in to make this proto being, which I think is actually really interesting. It's a good idea.
No,
it's like if you make him
part of the movie.
Yeah, if you make that being look like the art that we're creating, it's like, oh, that makes sense. Like we create the art to look like we have this subconscious, like, we need to make it look like this godlike figure that we used to be.
Yeah.
Which I really can appreciate, and I love that. But I think my biggest problem, looking back on it now, and again I haven't rewatched it, but looking back on it now, is that I've got that going for me, right? But then I think about the movie, and I don't feel like there's a lot of those beings in the movie. Oh, yeah. I feel like they're barely in the movie.
Let me continue. Good points. We'll get to that in a second.
Okay.
Alien, it's got the art direction, which is amazing and original for that time, and still it has that, and it also has the simplicity. Like there's nothing that's happening in this movie. It's just like a alien on a ship, everyone dies, she escapes, over. Like it's stupid simple. Prometheus is so utterly complex for no fucking reason. No reason at all.
Not no reason. The reason is Damon Lindelof wrote it. And so you got a guy who's writing Lost episodes, a show that's complex on purpose to confuse. He's going to do the same thing when he writes
spoilers. The entire film of the entire time you're watching Prometheus, like you don't know that the father of Charlize Theron is actually on the ship.
Guy Pearce.
Yeah, and it's just like, dude, like what the fuck? Why can't we just introduce Guy Pearce as still being alive? And he's like, all right, let's put a team together. I want to go meet these people before I die. And they go. Everyone fucking dies. He meets the alien at the end. Alien fucking kills him. One person survives. Over. Like, why can't it just be simple? Why do we have to have these just stupid shit where like Michael Fassbender is like impregnating or like
he puts the black ooze
putting
in the water
shit
or whatever.
Infecting the guy, and then the guy impregnates the woman, and then she's got an alien in him, and she has to get the alien out.
I actually heard a part of the review that was about that, which suggested that Michael Fassbender's character didn't have any idea what would happen if he put the black goo in the water. He did it to see what would happen.
No, that's what I mean, though. Like, I think that's...
Like, not that it was a plot point where, like, I'm going to do this because I know he'll fuck her and then they'll impregnate and we'll have an alien.
I think it's fucking stupid, though, because I feel like it's just adding stupid shit, and I feel like the AI wouldn't harm a human like that. He's not supposed to. Like, it's like... I don't know.
Not like, I mean, not all movies follow Asimov's rules.
No, I mean, like, I thought that was, like, part of the thing, like, part of the...
Oh, I don't...
AI.
I mean... In Alien, then AI hurts a human.
Yeah, I guess so. That's true. It's like malfunctioning.
I don't really care about spoilers, but I have not seen Prometheus just based on the fact that y'all told me not to see it. It's really bad. But it just
there's
like
good
what
parts to it,
does that have any connection to Alien?
It's a prequel to Alien.
Or just when you are talking
about. It's about the birth of the xenomorph, the alien. The aliens are called xenomorphs. Yeah, so they're about the birth of them. They show the proto-xenomorph at the very end of the movie. Yeah. Spoiler, it's the worst part of the fucking movie, too. It's really lame to see, because it's just clearly just there for the fans.
There's like a 5-minute scene of her like ripping an alien out of her like via
machine
automated like doctor. And it's like...
It's just went to sleep.
It's lame. I don't know. I didn't enjoy it at all.
The screen is just asleep, right?
It's fine.
Okay.
Charlize Theron is gross. I don't know. It's terrible.
I really hated Idris Elba in the film also. This like where he's got like this weird country accent.
He's like the black guy from Alien. It's like they said, oh, we need that guy in the movie again because we need the same character for some. They're the same character. It's ridiculous. I don't know.
Yeah, it just seemed really lame. I'm not into it, and Noomi Rapace doesn't do anything for me as an actress.
It's too complicated. I don't know. I mean, it's not hard to understand by any stretch of the imagination. It's just there's too much going on. There's too many subplots
Fair
and
enough.
too many characters that have a say in it. It's just bad. Whatever. I'm interested to see where the next one goes though. Covenant.
Blomkamp's working on Alien 5 also.
Isn't that?
Covenant is
Covenant?
Ridley Scott's sequel to Prometheus.
Oh,
Neil Blomkamp's working on a sequel to Alien Resurrection.
Resurrection. Oh wow, that would be interesting.
There's
to see
also a
where that goes.
Predator sequel in the works, and I think Arnold's going to participate.
I'd heard that, but I don't know who's directing it.
Yeah.
If it's
I'd
not,
like to-
Mc-
I'd
if
like
it's
to
not
s-
McTiernan, I'm out. I'm like, just get McTiernan
Does
back
he
in the
even make
director's
movies
chair.
anymore?
He's out of jail. Like it's
He went to
fucking
jail?
High time. He went to jail for tapping his wife's phone. Wow. Spying on her.
I didn't know that.
He needs to come back. They need
He
to
just
get
thought
him-
he hadn't made a movie for 11 years
Yeah.
because of.
Okay, but he needs to come back. And
I agree, he's the man.
Arnold needs to be a general, and just like he just
General.
I don't know. He's like
He should be
70
like
years old. But
like a total like merc now. You know, like not wasn't he was in the military in that movie, right?
no, yeah, he was a mercenary. He was.
He wasn't, but he wasn't like officially in the military.
I don't. Well, I think
It's been a long.
I don't
time.
think so. I remember reading something on it like he was a basically a soldier for hire, and the military actually outsourced and hired him to go in to save it because his squad, his specialty was evac and stuff in like really bad areas. I was just reading some little backstory stuff on it not too long ago. Like it was originally going to be titled Hunter, and it was titled Hunter until after production before they released it and they changed it to Predator. And Van Damme was originally the Predator, but the suit was too hot and he complained too much, so he was fired. And like midway through
What a
production, they
dumbass.
halted production because the alien looked terrible. No one liked it, and actually, this is an interesting fact. When they halted production halfway through it, they took all the stuff they filmed and edited it together while they were waiting for more funds and let the studios watch what they saw. The studios loved the first half, so they gave them even more money to finish it, and they were able to work on and make the ending, like make the Predator look better and stuff like. They actually got James Cameron to it's like giving some designs to ideas, like with the talons on its face to give it this look. So it turned out
Great
to be,
film.
Yes, but
5 out of
anyways,
5.
I'll go back to the next one I have, and this one actually interested me. I wasn't expecting it to be like 5 out of 5, mind blowing, but and it wasn't, but it was actually really interesting, and I kind of liked it, and because of the gimmick it had. It would be a lot less than it was, and I'm talking about Hardcore Henry. That
You saw this?
yes,
I wanted to see this.
but
fucked up.
I'm not gonna.
I did fuck up.
Then I'm not gonna say about the ending and stuff because I'll just say this. It's like playing a really good Call of Duty game that I guess probably more so the modern Call of Duties with that futuristic type thing, but our time just more of a science fiction added to it. And the first person aspect, the entire movie is interesting. I would advise watching it. I didn't see it in 3D, but I'm pretty sure even for me, watching it in 3D would have made me sick because it's just so much jumping, bouncing, moving around.
Yeah.
But the idea is cool. And it's only it's only 90 minutes long, perfect length. I mean, if it was any longer, it would just get old. But it was pretty entertaining. It was. I gave it a 3.5. It was. I mean, I didn't
Is it
see it as
bloody?
anything better than 3.5. Like there's some actually really good blood moments. There's also some heavy CGI moments in blood, which doesn't. See, that's one of the things. But there's a lot of really cool moments of action violence, which it feels like almost there's parts of it that reminded me of playing the campaign of Modern Warfare 1.
Okay.
And there's some moments at the end where it has basically kind of like a storyline similar to those Call of Duty games, and I'll just say that. And it's a fun I would say it's a fun ride if I was to describe it. like a roller coaster ride, But it's
This movie is a roller coaster ride.
but it's pretty solid. It's I would advise seeing it at least once if you like action movies. And I'll say this: if it wasn't in the first person, it would not have been good at all. because it just
Okay.
it would have been to me it like the way the story goes in action, it would have been it would have been like I don't know, just I can't even think of a way to describe it. Like it just it
Like a
would have been
cliche
as,
action
exactly
garbage,
yeah.
Is that your second bowl of cereal since we've been here?
Yeah, I haven't eaten all day.
I gotta be honest, Crispix or whatever the fuck that is probably not gonna fill you up, buddy.
I don't have anything else to eat.
You don't have any protein in there?
Some protein.
Got some TV dinner.
There you go. Amy's?
Hunger
All
Man.
right. I'm gonna continue then. I watched and rewatched Green Room, directed by Jeremy Saulnier, 2015.
I'm sorry I missed that.
It's okay. I saw this the first time in the
Sorry, I missed it too.
theater, and it's his follow up to Blue Ruin, which I was a huge fan of. I think we were all,
Yeah, it was
at least moderate fans.
I wasn't
of it.
able to rate it yet, but Blue Ruin was really good.
Yeah, and this is his follow up. I was very excited about this movie. It's about a punk rock band who gets. Thank you, Jonathan. It's about a punk rock band who gets trapped in a backwoods bar that's owned by neo-Nazis, and they witness a murder, and the neo-Nazis are essentially trying to kill them. Patrick Stewart is the head of the neo-Nazis. Macon Blair, who's the star of Blue Ruin, is like his second in command.
How old is Patrick Stewart?
He's fine. He's not mind-blowing like everybody seems to be saying, but he's good. He works in the part. He's not in it a lot, to be honest. Fuck, what's that kid's name?
Why did they?
Anton Yelchin is the star of the film, essentially. Him and Imogen Poots, they are the two stars, and he's the guy. He's one of the guys in the band, and it's just a great genre action horror thriller kind of thing. It's just like them against the neo-Nazis and siege movie kind of. They're in this green room the whole time, and there's guns involved. It gets very violent, as you can imagine if you've seen Blue Ruin.
Like, how violent are we talking here?
I mean, I don't know. What's our scale?
I don't know.
What's the most violent movie you can think of?
Like, gore.
What's the goriest movie you can think of?
The goriest thing I've ever seen in a movie?
Yeah.
Just
Probably 127 hours.
Okay, there is a scene in this where a character is cut on the arm with a utility knife, like one of these razor blade knives, and you don't see that happen, but you see the aftermath of it, and that is reminiscent of. That was hard to look at. And there's
Which
another
is worse?
part. Oh, 127 hours is worse because it's more lingering and you have to watch the whole thing. And there's that whenever he hits the tendon, it does that like guitar noise. Like, it's like yeah, it's horrendous. But and there's also another moment where another character takes that utility knife and slices up the stomach of someone, and like their guts kind of pour out. It's
Really shows it?
yeah.
Oh, man.
And the
Man.
person's already
Kira style?
dead when this happens, but it's still extremely gross.
That's a little better.
yeah.
Well, he just died. Like they were strangling this guy, and then she does it to make sure he's dead.
Oh, it's okay.
It's horrendous. So yeah, it's pretty violent, pretty bloody, and along with Blue Ruin, there are some great bullet moments in it.
Some headshots?
Oh yeah,
Really? Squib? Or CG?
it's not CG. Parts of it are probably CG, but the blood is not. And there are two different moments where people get shot in the head, and there's like a fountain of blood coming out of them. Like it's literally like it's like an arch coming out. It's pretty great.
Yeah.
And it's really well written and put together. Like there's this great through line of Anton Yelchin telling this story when everybody's alive at the beginning and they're just in the situation. He tells this, like they're locked in this room, and he tells this story, and he doesn't get to the end of it before somebody cuts him off because they're like, this is getting us nowhere, let's make a plan here. And he ends up finishing the story later on, and it ends up saving them, like the moral of the story kind of, which is really great. So it's just a really good solid watch.
Is it written by him?
Yeah, Saul. I believe so. So I believe Saulnier wrote and directed it. Oh, cool. I gave it a 4.5 the first time. Went back, instant 5 out of 5. This is just glorious. I like it a lot.
Can't wait to check it out.
I rewatched American Movie, directed by Chris Smith, from 1999. This is a movie I'd seen once before. It's a documentary, very famous on the cult documentary, I guess, about these two filmmakers. Well, it's like one filmmaker and his buddy, Mark Borshak, I think is his name, the filmmaker, and he's like this nerdy. He's just like Gary, really, when you break it down, except maybe not as scary as we perceive him to be at this point, but he's just like him. But he's very, very ambitious, this guy. Have you seen American Movie?
No, I've heard a lot about it.
Okay.
I've seen parts of it.
So Mark Borchardt is very, 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 very ambitious, has huge plans, huge dreams, and he's a talker. So he gets things done. He's not like an idiot, like a douche who would just talk about shit and nothing would ever come of it. He actually gets these things accomplished. Like he's made films, he shoots on film. I mean, it's 99 or it's shot in 96 or something. So clearly he's shooting on film, but he gets money together from he's got an uncle who's got a lot of saved money, and he convinces his uncle to lend him money or to invest in the film. And it's all about him trying to make this short horror film called Coven, which actually, honestly, when they show footage from it, it looks bad fucking ass. But it's kind of like notorious as like kind of a B, like not very good movie. It's an amateur hour kind of thing, and he stars in it and everything. But when they show clips from it, I'm like, this actually looks really good. Like the photography is really good. It's very stark contrast, black and white, like very black and white. Like there's very little grayscale in it, which I like. But anyway, it's about him trying to make this movie and his problems that he has. He has personal problems. He has like an ex-wife and he's got like 3 kids, and
How old is he?
He's in his late 30s, I think.
Okay.
He doesn't make any money. Obviously he doesn't really have a job. He gets a job midway through the movie at a graveyard, but like he doesn't really make any money, and his ex-wife's always pissed about it and everything, and she doesn't want to let him see his kids, and he has a drinking problem, or you could infer that he has a drinking problem. He's drinking a lot in the movie. But, it's just kind of about the, I don't know, triumph of the creative spirit, I guess, or something. I mean, it's I wouldn't say it's like a feel-good movie or anything, but it's very good. It's very insightful into the creative process. So I highly recommend the American Movie. The first time I saw it, I didn't really get a lot out of it, but this time, I don't know, it kind of blew me away. I gave it a 5 out of 5. After that, I was at school. I'm a school teacher. And it was the last couple of days, and there was one of the days I had like a 2-hour break because the kids have 2.5 hour classes, and then they go home on the last week. So one of those classes was my off period, so I took those 2.5 hours and I watched Rolling Thunder from 1977, directed by John Flynn. I watched it on YouTube. This is like a cult classic, Tarantino, one of his favorite movies. He named his production, or not his production company, his distribution company that's not around anymore. He named it Rolling Thunder Pictures. And this movie's all right. It was headed towards like 3 out of 5 territory until the end. There was this great shootout, and Tommy Lee Jones is in it, and he's a maniac. He's like stabbing people and shit. It's great. And it's very reminiscent of like Sam Peckinpah kind of thing, like The Getaway or even Wild Bunch.
Nice.
After that, I rewatched The Witch, directed by Robert Eggers. I watched his director's commentary, which was good. I want to say it kind of lessened the impact of the movie. I'm not sorry I watched it, but just he talks down about a lot of the movie. Like he's very negative about certain aspects of it. He's like, I wish we could have done this. This is my
compromised or something?
He's like, this is the worst shot of the movie. I hate this shot. Look at this tree. It's terrible looking. This dog would never exist in 1690 or whenever the movie was made. Like he's extremely picky about the anachronisms in the film. Like he's like, we're trying to be very, very specific and very, very accurate, but there's just some things we couldn't do. Like, so obviously they wouldn't have this kind of house. So they wouldn't have an upper deck in this house because it would take too long for them to build that. But we had to have another room to shoot in, so we just decided to do it. I'm just like, I don't know that I want to know these things,
Yeah,
and,
stop it.
but still good. I mean, I'm not gonna. I didn't even give it a rating. I don't judge the movie on a commentary watch. So I mean, I'm sure if I rewatched it without the commentary, sure I'd love it. I mean, I still enjoyed watching it with the commentary. But sometimes when you watch commentary, it can really mess things up for you. Like I watched part of the commentary for The Man Who Wasn't There, which is a Coen Brothers film, and I remember just thinking like they came off as assholes in it, and I didn't want to watch it because I didn't want to think of them as being dicks every time I watched the movie. But they were real like condescending in it, like talking about how like just they seem very like uppity, like, yeah, we're great directors, like fuck you guys, what are you even listening to this for, kind of thing. So, and like a lot of these like just stories about like how they'd be hanging out with Billy Bob after that. I'm like, I don't want to hear about this shit. Like, tell me about the movie. Like, I don't want to hear your weird stories about hanging out with the actors. After that, I rewatched The 25th Hour, directed by Spike Lee, 2002. This is one of my favorite Spike Lee movies. It's great. It's got Edward Norton. Philip Seymour Hoffman is in it. He's great in it. Barry Pepper turns in a kind of over-the-top performance, but he's funny. And Rosario Dawson, who is just drop-dead gorgeous. She's in it. So I like it a lot. I'm not going to say that much about it, but it's great. And I'll talk about one more. Went and saw The Nice Guys, directed by Shane Black, in the theater with my wife, who loved this movie. She didn't want to see it, but I was like, I got to see this movie. It's Shane Black. He's like a noir movie. It's like him going back to Last Boy Scout territory. So I had to see it, and it basically is the exact same story as The Last Boy Scout, to a degree. I mean, it's about two guys. One of them's a private detective. They're trying to solve a mystery, and it's a conspiracy, and it's in L.A., It's mildly violent. I mean, some good action pieces in it, and people getting shot and stuff, and it looks all right. A little CG sometimes, which is disappointing. But, I mean, what do you... He directed Iron Man 3, for God's sake.
I've seen a picture of him recently, like... Now, as an older age, the way he looks, like his weight and everything, he looks even more like what he was supposed to be in Predator. He looks more like Hawkins, like a mercenary.
Oh yeah, I forget. Yeah, Shane Black is in Predator. He plays plays Hawkins. Yeah, he's the guy with the glasses, right?
Yeah,
yeah, he's good in that though. Yeah, he's acting in a few things. I forget what else, but. Nice Guys was okay. I didn't dislike it. I liked it. I just didn't... She was really taken with it, and I didn't find it that great. It was okay. It's pretty funny at points, but... Anyway. Rustin?
Yeah, I have two I'm going to combine. Two more anime movies. Well, actually, this is Dragon Ball Z, so y'all are familiar with this.
Oh, shit.
I recently watched... Well, not recently. This is the end of April, actually. Just in my mind, it's recently, but... I watched the two latest Dragon Ball Z movies ever since they've rebooted the show and they're making new episodes for it. And these ones are in English dub because I can't handle. I mean, I can watch some anime shows with Japanese, but I can't stand some of the voices in the Japanese.
Honestly,
stuff.
yeah, it's weird because like some or pretty much all animes. I'm not a huge anime guy, so like this is gonna sound really condescending and probably shitty, but like it all sounds the same. I swear.
Fuck anime nerds.
No, I swear to God, like all the females are like they sound like they're 12, and all the males sound like they're either like or like it's the same fucking shit. Every anime, everything I've ever seen. They all sound the same. I don't know if it's like a style that they just like feel like they need to do, or if it's just like coincidence.
I think it's because
or I'm just retarded.
No, I think it's because we don't speak Japanese, and like it's just that audible language. It sounds the same. I think
I hear Japanese people speaking like other films, and I don't know.
It's also a lot of these voice actors, kind of like with the American voice actors, they play like each one, like three people play like all the characters in the show. They have but anyways, I'll go with the first one. It's Dragon Ball Z Battle of the Gods, and it basically
These are the new ones, right?
Yeah, and
Okay.
these movies are basically unlike the original movies. These movies are actually summarizations of the new show so far. Like the new show is basically taking place of the same storyline that's happening in the movies, just that the movies are condensed versions with
the
better
same
animation.
characters, or
Yeah.
so Vegeta's in this?
Yes, and this is in these movies, and the show takes place right after the Boo saga or whatever, and the GT because of the unpopularity of it, it's that now is not even canon. It's just like a something else that was made up. You know, it's not part of the show.
So Vegeta's like a triple Super Saiyan or whatever. Like they're all
ultra
powerful.
I guess the power now Goku still reaches ×3. And everyone else, like Vegeta, can go to ×2, and same with Gohan, I guess. They didn't really show Gohan
They didn't
much.
do the combining them or whatever?
None of the fusion stuff. Goten and Trunks did that in this movie. But this movie, basically, the story in... I'm going to go ahead and give spoilers. I don't know if y'all are ever going to watch... You're going to watch these? Possibly.
Probably not.
Okay.
If I have kids one day, maybe.
Yeah. Well, I'll go ahead and give just the gist of the story. Like, the story is basically this person... basically it's I guess you could say it's a god. Basically lives in the Kai realm.
Mm-hmm.
This and I can't think of. I'm forgetting the names now. It's been over 2 months, but basically this character, he looks like an Egyptian cat god. Just anyone who watches and knows this, they can know the name. They know what I'm talking about.
Jimmy?
But huh?
Jimmy?
No. But this character is like the most powerful person in, I guess, their known galaxy, and evidently they talk about the fact that there's actually other universes, like alternate dimensions, and there's people more powerful than this guy. So this leads up, to future stuff. And he has this partner with him who trains him, who's kind of a really weird looking character, and this person, even though he doesn't admit to it, this person's more powerful than he is, though he doesn't let on that he's powerful. He just trains him. He's kind of a goofball character.
Okay.
So I can't remember his name, but he's called something the Destroyer. This Destroyer guy wakes up from this 40,000 year nap, as he calls it. He's been asleep in this place for 40,000 years, waking up, and I believe he is bored and wants to do something. He finds out that there's this he senses these powers, basically, and one of them's Goku on King Kai's planet training. He goes there, and Goku he asks Goku, I want to test your power, and Goku's like, all right. So he powers up to ×3, and this Destroyer guy wipes the floor with him. Like he knocks him out in like a one hit, and like Goku passes out and loses all his power or whatever. Not loses it permanently, but he just gets knocked out.
Mm-hmm.
And so this guy, he's not a malicious character, but he has no problem with if something bothers him or annoys him, like a planet, people on it, he can just snap his, he's destroy the planet instantly. It doesn't bother him. He doesn't have that morality.
He's God.
Yeah. But evidently he has this he remembers, after waking up, he remembers this thing he heard about, a legend of a Super Saiyan God, which is something. I guess that's the new power to attain in this show. And
Super Saiyan God.
Yep. And so in the show, basically, he goes to Earth, and he is trying to find information. He knows that besides Goku, who's now like basically half dead from being knocked out, he's just messed up bad. And I think I forget exactly if King Kai brings him back, wakes him up, or if he gets sensu beans or something. I forget. But anyways,
sensu beans.
I know they were used in this. But anyways, he goes to Earth, and they throw a little bit of backstory because evidently Vegeta knows who this person is, and so and I think I just no, it wasn't. So I think I made a mistake. Actually, it wasn't 40,000 years. He's been asleep on and off. He woke up not too long. I think it was more like 20 years. No, it was 40 years, not 40,000. 40 years.
It's kind of a big leap.
Yeah.
40 to 40,000.
No, the reason is because I just messed up because because Vegeta remembers actually seeing this person when he's a kid, like 5 years old, because this person came because he actually visited different planets with powerful beings.
So Vegeta is 45.
Yeah, roughly. Let's see, from that point, Vegeta knows who he is and is tiptoeing around the guy because he knows what he can do. and everyone else is oblivious to who he is, and he just shows up at this party for Bulma, and it's a birthday party, and there's a lot of just
How's Bulma looking?
not bad.
Wow.
In fact, there's actually a lot of really good humor in it. It's kind of it's really goofy, but it's funny. There's actually one point where they bring back these characters from the original Dragon Ball, who were people they used to go up against trying to obtain the Dragon Balls, and I forget the characters' names, but it's this little mutant looking guy, this dog guy with a samurai sword, and a chick. And I guess previously in another movie or something, they wished accidentally and got shrunk down to where they're kids again. And so there's this point where they're trying to break into the party and steal Dragon Balls because they've had them there for a while. And they happen to encounter the characters, start freaking out because they don't realize that these are the characters at first, that these are the same people they had to fight and encounter way back in the past. But since they're kids, like Bulma and the others don't recognize them, but they start to recognize these people, and they think that Goten is actually Goku. It's like, how is he still a kid, kind of thing like that. But there's this one point, it's probably the funniest joke in it, is where Trunks sees the three, I guess villains you could call them, but they're more just idiots and, just kind of stumbling over themselves. And he decides to see them, he goes, hey, and he jumps and he flies over to them. And the leader actually says, why did you have to fly just to move 20 feet? He makes this just obvious just riff on why is he using this? Just there's no reason for you to. There's a lot of these little jokes in there that they make fun of stuff from the series, which I thought was pretty good.
Did you like this movie?
I enjoyed it. It was I gave it what did I give it? It was a 3.5. I enjoyed watching it. It really brought back that nostalgia for me for Dragon Ball Z, and there was a lot of good moments. And Vegeta had some really good and funny moments in it. And but I'm gonna get where I get to he really shines. I'll get to the second movie, which I really enjoyed. I'll say this: the second movie gave it a 4, and I really enjoyed it and it was basically where. It's okay. Let me get back to what it's called. It's Dragon Ball Z Resurrection F, which is the resurrection of Frieza. Basically, it starts off where there's these minions of Frieza who are still alive in some part of the galaxy. They decide they come to Earth, they find the Dragon Balls, and they want to bring Frieza back, so they do. And the only thing that's kind of cheesy, it's not cheesy, but it kind of, I don't know, it's like, why didn't you do this in the first place kind of thing, but whenever they bring Frieza back, he realizes he can't defeat Goku, and it's been, I guess, 10 years since he was killed, and so he realizes that, they've had to have gotten more powerful, so Frieza starts to reveal that he can actually train if he desires to and become even more, and so he just works at it and trains, and so when he comes to Earth, he's actually to the level where he can hold his own with Goku at his current state, which at this point, in this next movie, because of, I guess, the progression in the new series, Goku has obtained some of the strength of the Super Saiyan God without having to be transformed into it, because I skipped over this in the first movie. In order to become a Super Saiyan God with this red hair, now it's a new thing, you have to absorb the power of 4 other Saiyans. And so he has to get his sons and Vegeta to give him the power. And Vegeta actually... is really against it. He wants to, why does Kakarot have to fucking always get the power? Next time I'm getting it. Something, this little kind of funny banter and stuff they have at the beginning. But in this one, both he and Vegeta have they've been training with the Destroyer guy, and they've gotten to where they've actually been able to obtain some of that power through transformation. And so now they have a Super Saiyan form, which has blue hair. And this is basically a variation of the Super Saiyan God thing. And so Frieza comes, they fight. Frieza actually, because of his power, actually starts to get the upper hand on Goku, because Goku, they make a funny joke earlier that Goku doesn't think so much, and so his power, it's basically whenever the Destroyer is comparing Vegeta and Goku, he says, Vegeta, you should kind of react a little more. Goku does that, and he gets a little head in strength sometimes. But at the same time, Goku doesn't think. And Vegeta, you are more of a battle tactician. And Vegeta's like, yeah, because this guy's an idiot. There's a lot of little funny things in there, and but at the end, Goku actually gets his ass handed to him, and Vegeta comes in and just wipes the floor of Frieza, just beats the shit out of him. And the only thing that comes at the end that's kind of lame is Frieza decides to do a self-destruct thing, and he does. He just self-destruct, kills. Goku is able to somehow get pulled through time from the person. Blah blah blah. Long story short, Goku comes back through like 10 minutes later, blah blah blah, and kills Frieza before he can do it.
Nice.
So, so prevent it. But at the end, Vegeta's the one that shines, and that was really good.
Awesome.
And I'll leave off with that. I'm sorry, I kind of rambled on there.
It's okay. Our
So
listeners will
editing's
love that.
Go.
Oh, is
Me?
it my turn?
I
It's
don't
your
know.
turn.
I don't know. Okay. Let's see. After Prometheus, I watched John Wick.
How was that?
2.5.
2.5. So not that great.
Not that good.
I also gave this a 2.5.
CGI
And yet-
Fest.
and yet-
CGI Festival 2014.
I just bought this on Blu-ray.
Wow. It's not bad.
I need to see it.
I want to rewatch it.
It's entertaining.
I watched some of the kill scenes on YouTube again, and it looks good.
It's entertaining. I don't know. Just not really my
I
thing,
didn't
to
love
be
it
honest.
either, but I don't know.
Yeah, that's about it. After that, I watched The Hobbit: Battle of the Five Armies.
Jesus.
2.5.
Did you see Smog?
Yeah. No, wait.
Smaug?
Yeah. I've seen all three.
Okay.
The first one was decent.
I like the first one.
Second one was not as good.
Didn't see it.
Third one is
Didn't see
not
it.
Me
good.
neither.
I hate Lord of the Rings. I don't like
Don't
it.
like any of the Lord of the Rings movies.
I just don't like I don't like fantasy unless it's like Final Fantasy. Like literally, like I don't like fantasy. Yeah.
Unless it's Final Fantasy.
Unless it's like sci-fi Final Fantasy.
I say that's not fair either. You don't like fantasy unless it's a video game. You don't like fantasy in movie form.
I really don't.
You like,
Like
but you like video game fantasy. You play all kinds of fucking fantasy games.
I mean, I mean, when I say fantasy, I mean like
You were just-
hard medieval.
I understand.
Like,
You were just talking though about how you liked Dragon Age Inquisition,
yeah,
which is like Lord of the Rings.
it is hard
essentially,
fantasy. Yeah,
and it's terrible.
I don't like hard fantasy though at all. Like orcs, goblins, and wizards and shit.
You're not gonna
It's
go
just-
see
it's not
Warcraft.
No. No.
Wow.
But I'm being a little hypocritical because Final Fantasy is very all of that. But I don't play those games for storyline. I play it for mechanics. But it's just not that good. I don't know. The whole battle was kind of cool, I guess.
You know, you lose some, you lose some. Peter Jackson's horrible.
It's just so much CGI. It's like no blood at all. I don't think there's one drop in this entire movie. Not good. After that, I watched Red Planet.
Never seen Red Planet before?
1.5.
You never seen this before?
No, first time seeing this.
Okay.
This is
Red Planet is not bad.
This is not good.
You were wrong.
on like so many levels.
I like Red Planet.
When was the last time you watched it?
There was remind me what's Red Planet, because there was like one
Val
or two
Kilmer,
movies.
Val Kilmer
yeah,
and
okay,
Carrie
now.
Ann Moss.
I saw
They
that.
go to Mars. It's pretty awesome. Carrie Ann Moss is almost naked in it. But beyond that, really cool story.
The story's not bad.
I love
Execution is awful.
I love Tom Sizemore's in it. He's great.
I didn't care for this at all.
I love the robot goes mad and like wants to kill them. Goes into army mode or military mode.
That
or
was
whatever.
dumb.
Marine mode. And I like the design
That was
of the
like
robot.
that was
also.
like fake conflict. I don't know. It was bad. It was just not good to me. I don't know.
I like that he has to figure out a way to get off the planet too.
The best
And he
part,
does.
though, the best part, hands down, is when he's about to suffocate and he takes his mask off, and he can breathe. That was cool. I like that. Like he's like, "Fuck it," or whatever. Like
Yeah.
he takes it off and he's like, "I can breathe." And that was kind of cool.
It's like breathing high altitude,
yeah.
but there's air.
I'm just gonna beast through a few of these because I don't really want to talk that
I've
much.
got like 16 left.
Whatever.
to talk about,
After
so.
that, I watched Team Foxcatcher, the documentary.
Oh yeah.
30 for 30?
I don't think so. It's a Netflix.
No, Netflix. If you thought the movie was dark, watch the documentary. It goes beyond. The character in the film was dark, but in the documentary,
Have you seen the 30 for 30 though?
no.
Okay. Do they go in depth about his videotaping in
Yeah.
this movie? Okay. They do on the 30 for 30. I'm leaning towards not watching this because I feel like it's going to retread everything I know already.
It sounds like there's no point because that was the only different part
Yeah.
that I actually enjoyed. That's some crazy shit. Like he would like film the woods for like hours and hours and then like retape it and then
He's
make
paranoid.
make people watch it with him.
Yeah.
It's insane. But gave it a 4. It was
You
entertaining.
loved this.
It was entertaining.
I'm just kidding. It's fine.
It was beginning to end good. After that, I watched Contact, and I feel really
Zemeckis.
bad about giving this a 2.5 because it deserves a 3.
Okay. But you rate too early, you say.
I did. I rated it the second the credits rolled.
That's wrong.
It's like
Should never do
2.5.
that. No.
And the next day, I'm like, I should give it a 3. But
The 18 hours of static on the videotape alone warrants a 3. It's such a cool
it's
idea.
really long.
Time dilation. It's like so much better than Interstellar.
It is better than Interstellar.
I
It's
agree.
really long though, but I can't say that there's like nothing happening. There's something always happening, and it's entertaining. And yeah, Zemeckis, he knows how to make movies. I don't know. That's pretty much it. I don't know. It's good.
Back to the Future.
And like you mentioned, the way he deals with them showing the aliens as her father.
Yes.
That's just smart.
That is classic.
I feel like that's probably a lot of like Carl Sagan.
Yeah, it's probably just a Sagan thing. It's
Yeah.
really not a Zemeckis thing, but yeah.
Good shit.
It was good. And I like
It's a good movie.
all the actors involved.
Watch it.
So. Okay.
I've got 3 more, so I'll save them.
Okay, yeah, just go ahead and save those because I got 16. I'm going to burn through like
At
8 of
least
these.
8,
8
yeah.
or 9, okay? Watched Pickpocket for the first time from 1959, directed by Robert Bresson. This is a French New Wave kind of thing. It's my first film I've ever seen by Bresson. I was encouraged to watch this by my friend Sean. I had been wanting to see it. I don't know, just like you gotta be pushed to watch stuff like this. I don't know. I'm just not like a guy who just walks around and is like, gotta see all the French New Wave shit. It's like all the neo realism. I don't know. Whatever. I'll see them when I see them. So anyways, finally saw this thing. It's like 80 minutes long, which rules, and it's pretty good. It's about a guy who is the titular pickpocket. He steals people's wallets and shit, and he gets in trouble a lot for it. And he has these kind of dense philosophical conversations with a police officer about the nature of right and wrong and crime and punishment. And it's decent, I mean, it's not like mind-blowing or anything. I'm sure it was at the time. It's still nothing like what Godard is doing, which I think is leaps and bounds beyond anybody in the French New Wave. But it's good. I would recommend watching it, but I mean, it's not like it's not a masterpiece or anything. I rewatched Mad Max Fury Road, directed by George Miller, from last year. And this went up 0.25 for me to a 3.75. There are parts of it. In fact, for I'd say the first 20 minutes, I thought this was going to be like a 4.5, maybe even a 5. I thought I was really going to jump up on this one, but it really loses it.
It drags.
And I wrote I know it's a weird criticism considering how much it's talked about as being nonstop action.
It's not.
This
at
movie needs a lot more action.
Yes.
It is, because anytime there's non-action, this is the most boring shit. Anytime there's dialogue or even like a little break where Charlize Theron's talking to Tom Hardy, I could give a shit. I just want to see marauders jumping on the truck, getting shot. Yes. I want to, it should be the whole movie should be the chase. It should be the end of the Road Warrior for the whole movie. Like that would have been great.
It should have been like a massive train. Like she hijacks a train or something. You know what I mean? So it's like 5 miles
like
long.
Thunderdome.
It's like 5. Yeah, exactly. It's like 5 miles long or some shit. And then
the train is 5 miles long.
It's just like, so it's just 5 miles of just death. Like
that's like Snowpiercer.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
No, he has to fight his way to. That would have been
good. But I'm not downing it. I don't think the acclaim is misplaced or anything. I think people like it, and it's fine that they like it. It's just I like it. I just don't think it's amazing. I would buy this for $7.99, on Blu-ray at some point in the future if it gets that low. But other than that, I don't see myself revisiting this anytime soon. Like I said, I've been talking to my friend Sean a lot about movies. He's been telling me to watch certain things. So I watched In Cold Blood for the first time, 1967, directed by Richard Brooks, and it's very good. It's based on the true novel or whatever by Capote, and it's about two drifters who they find out about this farmer in the Midwest, and they think that he has a safe with money in it, so they go to his safe they go to break into his house to get the money out of the safe, but it turns out there is no safe, so they end up killing everybody, and it's like the whole family gets murdered with shotguns. And it's pretty dark for especially for 67. I mean, it doesn't show the carnage or anything, but it's very, I don't know, it's pretty bleak for a film this old. And it's very good. I mean, I would recommend it. There's nothing super wrong with it or anything. I think the acting is incredible. The Robert Blake plays the main character, Perry Smith, and he's quite good. But honestly, I really like the other guy even a little more. I can't remember what his name is at the moment, but the guy who played his accomplice is quite good in it. Very watchable. After this, I rewatched Steve Jobs from last year, directed by Danny Boyle. Me and Jonathan had seen this in the theater.
Yep.
I
think we gave it.
I gave it a 4. I gave it a 4 when I saw it in the theater, and I think the whole reason was that last scene on top of the parking garage where he talks about the iPod.
For me, I think it was
really
a lot.
Turned me off.
I think it was a lot like reaction to the hype, because it was getting like out of control hype.
Was it?
Yeah,
because it like tanked at the box office.
No, I mean like Fassbender. Like people, are like, oh my god, he's like so fucking awesome. Like,
he was good.
I mean, he is good. Yeah.
Anyways, I rewatched it, and it's a 5 out of 5 for me now. I think it's pretty much perfect, and it's probably one of the better Danny Boyle films that he's like as far as his directing goes.
Better than Sunshine.
Yeah, I like Sunshine a lot, but this is better. It's just, I mean, it's a different animal. You can't really compare them, but this is good. I love the 3-act structure of it. I love the writing. I love the dialogue. Fassbender, I think it's his best performance. I think it's the best performance of last year. I think he should have won the Oscar. No offense to Leo or The Revenant. I don't think his performance in The Revenant was his best performance. I think this is the best performance of last year. I think he was great in it. I think Kate Winslet's great in it. The guy who plays Arnold Rothstein on Boardwalk Empire is great in it. Seth Rogen is very good in it.
Arnold Rothstein.
Everyone is quite good. It's a great movie. I highly recommend it. After this, I got around to rewatching The Watchmen, or I think it's just called Watchmen, 2009, directed by Zack Snyder.
5 out of 5.
And this has been plaguing me for a while because I just remember hating this movie so much when it came out. And I think, like Jonathan just said about the hype, I think that was a response to the hype that it was getting. I was just like, this movie is not going to be good. And I kind of looked at all of its flaws, and I don't think that was fair to the film. So I decided to rewatch it and really enjoyed it a lot.
You're such a hypocrite.
Watch the director's cut, a 3-hour director's cut, 30 minutes longer than the original.
What did they add?
I don't feel like I'm a hypocrite for liking it. I mean, that's valid if you want to say it. I don't know, but I just, you see something at a certain time in your life and you don't like it, and you watch it.
I honestly
7
can't
years later
say why I didn't like it the first time.
Exactly, right? So I mean, that's my whole thing. Is like I can't either. Like I
remember the graphic novel, so it's like I don't see why I didn't like it.
I remember thinking I was taking it a little too seriously, and this time I didn't take it as seriously. I found it very like goofy on purpose at points, but I liked that about it. Like it's kind of campy, sort of. And I commented about that on my Letterboxd review, which I actually wanted to read part of. I said, watch the director's cut because apparently the theatrical cut hasn't been released on Blu-ray in the States, which is weird. I do think that is strange. When I saw it in theater, I'm pretty sure I hated it. For some reason, had a Jones to rewatch. Enjoyed it, haven't read the graphic novel. You can feel Snyder wanting to camp it up, but maybe he is afraid to, or the suits won't allow it. I rarely use this as a criticism, but this should have been more goofy. But I did find it like a little, like it was trending towards that way, Some scenes are unnecessarily bleak, and the photography is extremely dark to the point that it's often difficult to follow the action of certain scenes. Certain scenes, including those using extreme slow motion, seem self-indulgent. Anyway, good movie. I could see it going up on another rewatch. I think the
graphic novel is dark as fuck.
I understand that, and that's
So-
what our friend Randy had said on when he saw my review. He had said it's not goofy or campy at all. It's like dark, and I'm like, well, that's fine. I think it should be. Like, I don't. It feels like it's supposed to be like a satire of comics or a satire of the world with comics mixed into it and everything. I mean, it's like what that guy does, whatever the fuck his name is, the guy who wrote it. Hey, where do we stop?
Hey. Where you just went, you just stopped talking.
Oh, okay. So anyway, this is a solid
You want it
rewatch.
to be more goofy.
I want it to be a little more goofy, but I'm gonna watch the ultimate cut, which is another 30 minutes longer, 3.5 hours.
Do you have that?
No, I'm gonna try to download it at some point. Not anytime soon. I mean, I just watched this, but you know, I liked the idea of obviously the Dr. Manhattan.
I mean, yeah.
It's a great character, great idea.
I remember watching the trailer with, I think it had Smashing Pumpkins as the music or whatever. But yeah, seeing Dr. Manhattan for the first time on that was fucking incredible.
And the comedian character is very. It's
Dark.
weird that he's got like this like rapist murderer as a superhero. It's interesting. After that, I watched X-Men Apocalypse, which I guess we can all talk about if you'd like.
Yeah.
X-Men Apocalypse was probably my least favorite of the Bryan Singer directed X-Men films. However, that's not saying I didn't like it. I did like it. My biggest criticism is that Mystique serves no purpose in the film other than you cast Jennifer Lawrence as her, so she's the draw of the movie for, I don't know, certain people who like her. But she serves no purpose in the film, really. She shapeshifts twice.
That's true.
And she has no other power. So it's like, kind of like...
She's Psylocke at one point.
Yeah. That's the
That was
second
kinda cool.
time. And then she does nothing. She tries to cut his head with a sword. Like, what is she, retarded? Like, you think you can kill Apocalypse with a samurai sword?
It wounded him for like
A
2.5
split
seconds.
second? Yeah. And there's a lot of... there's a big controversy about the image of him holding her by her neck. Have you heard about this?
No.
A lot of like female feminist groups, I guess, are like pissed off about the fact that Fox is using this as the marketing image of, because they feel like it encourages violence towards women, as if Mystique is supposed to be considered a woman and Apocalypse is a man hurting her. He's the villain and she's the hero, so he's hurting her. That's what the movie is. It's a movie.
I think people will get upset about anything nowadays.
Yeah.
So.
It's just really ludicrous. But
I feel like for me, it wasn't bad. It wasn't great. I never read the comics, so I don't know what the fuck any of that shit is. But
you did see the cartoon.
the cartoon is like one of like top 5 holy grails of my childhood. So it's like when you see that as a kid, like Apocalypse as this unstoppable thing, and you watch in the movie, I feel like he's wasted. Like he's like totally wasted in this movie. Like he's not as powerful as he should be. Like when you first see him, and he like the part you like where he decapitates the guys with the sand or whatever.
That shit rules.
I want to see way more of that shit. Like they put it like projecting people into the walls where they're like half in the wall. That's cool. Like once maybe, but like I want to see like genocide. Like I want him to be like murdering the Earth. Like everyone on Earth gets killed or something. You know what I mean? Like it's like truly the apocalypse, and like I don't know. You know,
I'm with you. That makes sense.
It just wasn't as epic as, especially with the opening.
He wasn't godlike, and
the opening of this film fucking rules. Like where the
Egyptians,
they try to sabotage his
that
transfer.
is good.
That fucking and like they had like the guards who just like would take off their like
although
cowls or whatever, like blow the rocks out, and then it shoots down.
I did have a problem with that scene, in that multiple times in this movie they refer to Apocalypse as being the first mutant, and yet there are like 4 mutants who are helping him in that scene. Like that one guy takes the one saboteur and like makes him into like a ball and throws him against the wall.
But he's been alive for like 1,000 years by that point.
Oh, he was. But they're referencing him like being prior to like civilization. Like he was around, I guess, maybe he could have been some offspring of Atlantis. It didn't say Atlantis, but it's like something like that, like beyond 10,000 years before Egypt. So like he was that, and he just, mutants started coming up around him, and he would exploit them because he could actually absorb.
I feel like that was just like one of his like transfers, like his body transfers or whatever. Like that was just one of them. Like
because that mutant, I think, was basically like Wolverine. It gave him the ability to regenerate and not.
And there's
get
a lot
killed,
of people who keep going like, I don't know what Apocalypse's powers are. It doesn't make any sense. And it's like, well, like they say it in the movie, like he just like goes through the generations, like just absorbing people's powers. So it's like he has everything, like and like the whole point of the movie is he wants. Who does he want? He wants. Is it Magneto? No.
Doesn't he want to kill everybody?
No, he wants Xavier or something. He wants his power. Yeah, that's the whole point of the movie. Do what?
Doesn't he want to kill everybody on Earth? Like that's why he wants Xavier's power, so he can like.
So he can control whoever's
everyone.
left.
Yeah.
I thought he wanted to kill everybody.
I don't know.
Like get in everybody's head and just like snap their brains.
And like he takes over like Cerebro, and then they launch all the nukes, and I was just like, oh shit!
Yeah,
like, it's about to get fucking real.
I remember like 10 minutes after that scene, I was like, wait, what happened to the nukes? Like, weren't there nukes?
They're just
flying?
in orbit.
Like, he just sends them up to like get rid of them for some reason. Like, I don't think that's kind of weak,
like, dude. That
I thought he was gonna annihilate civilization with them.
Could have been awesome. And then they have to rebuild.
Or maybe like use time travel or something to fix it.
Yeah, I mean
they
they'd
did
have
that
to.
in future past.
But it wasn't bad. It was entertaining.
It was all right. I like I've always said, I like X2 is the gold standard for me as far as comic books go, and I like X-Men 1 and Days of Future Past better than this, but this is still fine. It's good. I would watch it again.
I watched Days of Future Past as well. I'm just gonna go through that real quick. I watched that right after.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. That's all I'll say because y'all kind of touched on a lot of points and everything.
Okay. I gave it a 3.
I'll say this. I really enjoyed the even though they teased it way before, and I kind of knew it was going to happen. I really enjoyed the cameo of Wolverine.
Oh yeah,
just that it reminded me of X. He was just.
I enjoyed the
dudes.
violence of it. I hated the head thing that he had on. It was terrible looking.
I was surprised by the violence.
I was too.
I was really surprised by it. It was good. I'm glad that was in the movie. But yeah, the headset was really. They should have done something else.
It's clearly like just an homage to the look from like the old Fleer Ultra card.
Yeah.
Where he's got that thing on him, and
it should have been more of like a helmet, like a mask over his
Yeah.
face, and you can't, almost like that. What they put on dogs, that cage thing to keep them
muzzle.
fight,
Yeah.
muzzle.
Oh, yeah,
it should have been
muzzle.
something like that. 'Cause
Yeah,
he's
it looked
an
terrible,
animal,
but yeah, the scene was okay.
And Psylocke looked weird. Like she look like everyone looks different, and she looks like she's right out of the comics. Like her suit is just so like.
I felt it was strange that he gives, like, it seemed like he gave the other people these really cool looking outfits, and he gives her like this swimming suit, like one piece. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
I wasn't complaining. I like that. But
Rustin likes Olivia Munn's butt. He wants to blow into it.
Okay.
Anyway, I watched Days of Future Past as well. It's
Rewatch.
Rewatched. It's still good. 3 out of 5.
Solid.
Yeah.
Mystique has a point in that movie.
Yeah, and the whole Wolverine stuff is cool, and Magneto's cool in it, and the Future Sentinel, like the opening scene with the Future Sentinels, that shit fucking rules. Like, that's cool as fuck. And Bishop is cool, but he's horribly underused. Makes me mad.
I barely remember him being
I know, he like in the original Days of Future Past, I think they send back Bishop.
Yeah, it was Bishop.
Yeah.
I wouldn't
and
watch the
like,
episode.
It's like, dude, I mean, I get it because like Wolverine has a regenerating power, so he can like survive being sent back, but like, I don't know.
No, it's not why.
I mean, yeah.
They send him back because Wolverine is the
Hugh
star
Jackman,
of the franchise.
Obviously, but they explain it in the movie as...
That's why they can't make a movie without Hugh Jackman giving a cameo at least.
But all you got to do is get Wesley Snipes in this bitch as...
Wesley Snipes.
as Blade. No, just kidding.
As Blade. After X-Men Apocalypse, I watched a movie called Johnny 316, directed by Eric Eifrigan from 1998. This movie stars Vincent Gallo and some model. Really wanted to like this one. Watched the trailer and was kind of blown away. Wanted to see it, and so I rented it on iTunes. And it's just not that good. It's really like film schoolish. some interesting imagery and a pretty good performance by Gallo, but not a whole lot going on here. It's a 74 minutes or something, and it runs like it's 2.5 hours. It's very slow. After that, went to Memphis with my wife and watched Sorority Rise, or Neighbors 2 Sorority Rising, directed by Nicholas Stoller, at the drive-in. We always go to the drive-in when we go to Memphis, and so we had to, even though there's nothing playing that we wanted to see. We decided this was the least of all evils.
Was it worth it?
No, it's where I love the drive-in. I'd go watch Prometheus 2 times at the drive-in. I love drive-in. It's amazing.
I don't know. I've never been to one.
It's super cool, man. It's super fucking cool.
It seems like it would be amazing.
It is great, but you wouldn't. It's I think of it like.
Is it like kept up, like nice, or is it just like kind of like on its last leg?
I imagine they do all right. I don't know.
Does it look nice?
What do you mean?
Like the drive-in itself.
The screen?
Like, yeah, the screen and everything. Like
it's just it's a screen. I mean, it's not like falling apart or anything.
Okay.
The one we watched actually was I think it might have been like a repurposed, because it looked like it was made out of like corrugated aluminum siding or something, because like you could see like the ridges before they turned the screen on, and like the other screens don't have that, so I think they might have like fixed this one or something. But it didn't matter when the movie was on, you couldn't notice, but before it was on, it was clearly like ridges up and down. But this movie was probably the worst movie I've seen this year. It's really bad.
Damn. Not
funny at all. I said I gave it 1.5 out of 5. That's a 0.5 for each time I laughed out loud. Wow. And it was not very good. Very like, I don't know. I mean, just like comedies are hard, man, you know? There's just like nothing to like. It's just like, did you laugh or not? And I didn't really, so I don't like it. After that, came back home and watched Letter Never Sent, directed by Mikhail Kalatozov, who's a Russian director from 1959. And this one was mind-blowing, super good. This is a great, great film. I gave it a 5 out of 5 and a like. It is a masterpiece. What?
Why don't you give it a 6?
See, I don't...
Mind-blowing.
I'm worried about 6s now, because 6 is like, honestly, I keep thinking about the fact that I gave Revenant a 6, and I don't think it deserved it.
No, it doesn't.
So I'm leery to give 6s out now, unless it's really like next level. And I would say I like Letter Never Sent around the same amount as I like The Revenant.
I mean, what is truly like mind-blowing? I mean, like, that you've seen ever.
That I've seen ever?
Yeah. Actually blowing your mind whole. Oh, man. Like, I don't think anything's ever truly...
I'm looking at your movies trying to find something.
I think for me, the biggest one that I made the mistake of, when I saw The Revenant the second time, I was like not dumbed down. I was like, yeah, this is still a 6, but I don't think if it's ever re-rated that it should be. If I watch it again and decide to give it a rating, it shouldn't be the same. Like, it's second time, you know what's coming. But the one that kind of blew my mind the most, that I did give a 6 to, at least that I've seen so far, that I've rated, has been The Fountain, because I wasn't expecting. I'm going there blind.
Fountain was pretty. Actually, the time I watched it with Rustin, it kind of blew my mind.
And I was.
You know what's blowing my mind?
Crying, just because it was so intense. I just.
The Fountain's good. Last Temptation of Christ is mind blowing. I would say Jerry. When I first saw Jerry, that kind of blew my mind a little bit, because I had never seen a movie like that before. Also Slacker, to an extent.
I'm gonna say Blade Runner.
Kind of mind blowing. Blade Runner did not blow my mind.
It blew my mind because the entire time I thought it was gonna be shitty for like 20 years.
Yeah.
Like, everyone told me it was shitty.
Well, it was when I was a kid. Before you understand it, it's pretty shitty.
But I don't know. I don't know if anything's ever truly blown my mind. I don't know.
Let me continue.
Okay.
Letter Never Sent is mind-blowing because it's unlike any movie you've seen from 1959. It looks like it was shot this year.
Oh, that's cool.
it looks like an Inarritu film. It reminds me a lot of The Revenant. It reminds me a lot of like Birdman. Really anything he shot recently. The camera work in it is incredible. It's very unusual. The story is so simple, but so interesting. And like, it's about this group of geologists who are in the Siberian wilderness trying to look for diamonds to basically become heroes, like fund the motherland. You know, it's during the USSR and everything. I don't even know if it was called the USSR at the time. It was during the time when, you know, the Soviet Empire. And they end up finding the diamonds, but then the very next day there's a huge forest fire. And so there's a map to where the diamonds are, and they have to like survive this forest fire and make it out alive and get that map back to civilization so that they can be heroes. And there's a bit of an aspect of propaganda to it. I mean, it's made in the Soviet Empire. It's produced by the Soviets. So there's like this idea of, you know, these people are heroes because they want to do good for the country. They want to do the greater good. And but I like that kind of shit. I don't have a problem with that. So, and there are just scenes in it like they essentially burn down a forest in this movie. Like they're walking through this burning forest. I mean, I don't know how they do that. I don't know if they had a huge like football field size set or something.
I mean, Siberia.
Or they just burn down well, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what the rules are or what they have in place, or, you know, I mean, how do you control it?
If you're like government sanctioned.
Yeah, but how would you control that? Let's just burn this part of the forest. How do you control it from not going to the rest of the forest? This forest it's a forest fire. It's huge, like engulfing flames. I mean, it's insane. And like the actors are in it, which is also like insanely dangerous. I don't know. I just don't know what they're doing. I don't know if it's just like no rules or what. But it's very realistic also.
It's Russia, man.
The shots are beautiful. The cinematography is amazing. This is great. And
don't hype this up too much, dude.
Well, I
want to see this.
Well, watch it. I'm saying to me, this is the best film I've seen all year. It's fantastic.
Okay.
It made me want to watch more Kalatozov films, so I went and watched the only other movie that's on Hulu, which is The Cranes Are Flying, which is from 2 years earlier, 1957, and this is a lot different. This is a war drama about World War II, and a girl whose fiance goes off to fight on the front, and she's left behind, and it is what it is. It's not nearly as exciting, and it's a little bit slower, but I still liked it a lot. I still found the direction to be impeccable and incredible, and the acting was great. And it's got the same girl who's in Letter Never Sent. She's the star of it, and it's quite good. Gave it a 4 out of 5, whereas Letter Never Sent was a 5 out of 5.
Mm-hmm.
I believe they're both on Criterion. But anyways, masterpiece. Sweet. I really want to see Soy Cuba, which he also directed. It was a few years later. And I've always heard about how incredible Soy Cuba is, and I just never got around to it. And it's like 2.5 hours long, but I'm going to watch it. So after this, I watched, while we were in Memphis, we came back to the hotel room one night, and we turned on the TV, and on HBO, Knocked Up was on. So we watched part of Knocked Up, and we were laughing quite a bit at it. So we decided to rewatch it when we got back, and we rewatched Knocked Up on Blu-ray, because I went out and bought it on Blu-ray for like $7 at Best Buy. And again, kind of like with Something About Mary, just really like, you want to laugh at the stuff again, but it's just not as funny anymore, because it's like, I know this, I've seen this, I've already laughed at this, give me something else. Comedies are hard, man. I just don't know.
Fast food.
Same thing with Step Brothers, like that scene.
When you sent me that scene, I was like, "This isn't funny to me anymore." I don't know why. It's just because I know
same thing.
It was that spontaneous moment of not knowing and the absurdity of it.
That moment was like I was like,
it was hysterical. Yeah, when I rewatched when you sent it to me, I was like, this isn't doing it for me. It's like not even making me crack a smile. I'm just like, I know he's got the boner and he says it's not funny.
I still think it's funny, but yeah, it's just not as impactful anymore. I haven't
7
thought about it in several years, so that's why I just like, I just felt like sending a memory basically.
So Knocked Up is whatever. It's it's whatever. The scenes with him and his friends are still kind of funny, but the rest of it's not that great.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I'll talk about one more. I've got 5 more total. So I'll talk about this last one. Vanya on 42nd Street, directed by Louis Malle from 1994. It's Louis Malle's last film. It's about a production of Uncle Vanya by Chekhov that David Mamet adapted, and they put it on as an exercise, and in an old, what Criterion calls a crumbling Manhattan playhouse, and which is accurate. It's like falling apart, and it hasn't been used in like 40 years, and it's pretty awesome. They just do the play, and it's filmed, and it's very stripped down and bare. There's no sets, there's no costumes. Everybody's just in their street clothes.
Sounds badass.
It's pretty good. That's yeah. I've got 4 more.
Have you seen any of his other films?
I saw My Dinner with Andre, which I love. Have you seen that?
Yeah, that was good.
Those are the only 2 I've seen, I think.
Oh, and did you ever watch Black Moon?
No, never saw Black Moon.
Oh.
I was told it wasn't good.
It's terrible.
Okay. Rustin?
Okay, I have just 2 more, but I'm gonna do this one first. And I saw this.
And just so you know, time is an issue at this point.
Okay. Well,
Yes, it is.
I went and saw the right before X-Men last movie. The movie I saw in theaters before X-Men was Captain America: Civil War, and it's actually one I thoroughly enjoyed. I enjoyed it as much as I did Winter Soldier. It had I like the I don't know what it is, but ever since Winter Soldier, I just get this. I guess it's a comparison to certain video games I like that I kind of apply to these heroes in the movie.
Metal Gear Solid.
Yes, and I like Captain America, or I like Chris Evans as Captain America.
I love Chris Evans. I don't necessarily enjoy him in these movies. I don't know why. It's just because I don't enjoy the movies. But like I do like Chris Evans.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like Snowpiercer very much. I like him in Snowpiercer.
Yeah,
I think he's good.
But anyways, in this story,
And
it's
ScarJo,
oh yeah,
who is, I mean, come on, just phenomenal.
Hideous?
Phenomenal looking.
Oh,
but
Beautiful. Under the skin.
you love her haircut.
Oh my God. What?
Don't you love her haircut in Captain America?
I don't recall.
I remember you making fun of it.
Oh, did I?
Yeah,
Did they like ruin her good looks with the haircut?
that's what you said.
But anyways, Captain America: Civil War, directed by Anthony Russo and Joe Russo, of this year. It basically, the story is based off of a story called Civil War in the comics that is where there's a government sanctioned just where it's basically the United Nations get together, and because of all the destruction in the last couple movies of the Avengers, where like cities are destroyed and whatnot,
It's the exact same story as Batman versus Superman.
they want to regulate. Well, they want to regulate, these superhumans, and just to make sure that they're not out doing their own thing rogue, and because of all the people that have died so far. Yeah, kind of similar to
Batman
that.
versus Superman.
But
or
anyways,
X2.
yeah, but basically, Iron Man gets his heartstrings pulled because of this one woman who comes up and blames him for the death of her son in one of these tragedies or I don't know, battles they had. And so he decides that he's for this, and there's several people that are kind of already with him that join his side, and then Steve Rogers, Captain America, still thinks that there needs to be people out there who are like basically like not he doesn't say above the law, but able to go out and stop.
Untethered by the government.
Yeah, exactly. And so they get into this thing where they're really, they split down the middle, and then later on a fight ensues, and they actually reintroduce Spider-Man. And this is actually a really kind of a cool look on Spider-Man. He's actually, looks like he is literally a 15-year-old kid in this, and I kind of like the idea of him now. Then there was no origin story. He just shows up, and I like that. I'm sick of origin stuff, and he's evidently got another standalone movie coming out with no origin story, just some new adventure. But anyways, they fight. There's a fight that breaks out. Some of the people get hurt. There's no deaths, but after a certain point,
Of course, there are no deaths.
There's that, the story. It kind of a lot of this fight boils up because Bucky, who's been in hiding since he's the Winter Soldier ever since the movie The Winter Soldier, he's framed by this person who's actually I'll just give you spoiler the story. This person from the he's basically from the country that the movie Age of Ultron was set in, and like there's a whole city that got destroyed in that, and his family was in that. This person from that, and he was like a soldier for that country. He basically just digs deep, gets information about the Winter Soldier, and he goes and he frames him for this murder. And so everyone's after him.
Oh God! I was like, what the fuck?
And at that point, since Bucky is Captain America's best friend, Captain America tries to defend him and tries to save him. And Iron Man's he's for capturing him. So there's that's where the fight kind of ensues. And then later, they figure out that this guy who's behind it all has gone to this facility in Siberia, where is one of the facilities that they housed the Winter Soldier at, and like kept him in cryo. And they found out that there was actually 5 other super soldiers that were created by that Hydra organization prior. And there's actually a video that he finds information where these people in his car, where it was a mission that Bucky was sent on to capture and kill the people carrying it and collect these 5 vials of the super soldier serum so they could make new ones like him. And towards the end, the guy does, like, I was expecting them to be fighting these super soldiers, like he releases a note. This guy goes and kills all of them while they're in their cryo sleep, this bad guy. And then he locks Iron Man, Bucky, and Captain America in this facility, and then puts this thing on the video screen and shows like a recording of the hit that Bucky did. And the people that were transporting, they were doing it just under the radar. The people that were transporting were actually Iron Man or Tony Stark's parents, because they always talk about that both parents are dead. This is actually what happened. He thought it was a car accident, and it shows. This is a kind of actually sweet scene. Like Bucky goes up after he shoots out their tires and they wreck. He goes over and pulls out Howard Stark, Tony's father, and then he's like, "No, listen, you can just take it." And then he pulls up and he like it cuts away, but you hear him like cave the guy's skull in with his metal arm, and Tony's sitting there watching it. And then he walks around the car to the mother, and she's just like crying, and you're just like really reacting to it. And then Bucky, you just hear him like just, it's really dark scene. And then after that, Iron Man, that's where you get this whole big fight where Iron Man's trying to kill Bucky, and then Captain America's defending him, and that basically goes to the end. And it ends on a kind of a note where they go into a draw, and Captain America and Bucky escape, and after that, it's kind of just leading up to what the final Avengers movies are going to be. So that's basically Captain. I enjoyed it. It was good. It was a solid 4. Like,
nice.
It's good.
All right.
You have?
Is that it?
I have one more. Do you have any more?
Oh, you want to just go do your last one?
All right, my last one is I rewatched a couple days ago the original Jurassic Park, and it was. Hold on. And it was, I think, really enjoyable. I not too long ago watched Jurassic World, which I gave a 2 because it's just not good. It was just a massive CGI fest. This one, though, I will say this, especially on watching it on the HD TV like I have now, its CGI is not aged well at all. It looks really bad. I mean, there's moments when you see dinosaurs for the first time it really looks good. The shots are great. It's just the dinosaurs when they're close up CGI, it's not good. Distance, it looks good, but the movie's just got a lot of good stuff in it. I really enjoy just all the scenes and story, the way it goes. I mean, my only real gripes in it, and I've had it in every single one of those movies, is they don't have anybody like shooting the dinosaur, like fighting the dinosaurs. It's mostly just like more of a intense, building up a fear of how dangerous they are and running from them. And in the movie, I really, really could have used more Muldoon. That guy was more so now watching, he's such a badass. I really wish he could have at least taken out one of the dinosaurs with the Spas 12. That would have been, and then get killed. That would have been.
The Raptors were too clever for him.
Yep. But anyways, I gave that 3.5 solid. It was still good. It's not great. Probably not as mind blowing as when I first saw it as a kid, but it was good.
Well, cool.
My last film is Embrace of the Serpent. You heard of this?
Mm-hmm.
2015 movie.
Was it from Colombia or something?
Something like that, yeah. Yeah.
It's whatever country it's their first.
I don't know. I saw it on
their
Amazon.
First,
so I was like, fuck
nominated.
it, buy it. It looked cool. Gave it a 4 and liked it.
You bought it?
Yeah, on Amazon. Or rented it on
Oh,
Amazon.
you rented it
Yeah.
on Amazon. I see. Okay.
Great story. Like I believe it's two parallel characters, like storylines. One in the early 1900s or late 1800s, I don't remember, and then one in like the maybe like 1940s or something like that. And it's about these two scientists trying to find like a plant that's like a cure-all or something, in
Fountain of Youth.
yeah, in
Is this a
the
sequel
Amazon.
to The Fountain?
no. It's
A
cool though.
prequel, I
It's
guess?
cool though because like it goes back and forth between the two storylines, and like the first storyline, the main character, he's like debilitated by like disease and shit like that. So they go to this witch doctor, and he lives by himself, and it's cool. Like he gets like, I don't know what it is, but like some kind of like powder he makes, and he puts it in this like straw thing that goes into the nostrils, and he'll like blow on it, and then like dust goes everywhere. It looks really cool.
That's
and he
terrifying.
keeps doing it. It's like keeping him alive basically. And then it like cuts to the future or whatever, and like the guy finds the same witch doctor. He's like, oh, that guy knows where the plant is, So he like goes, or he talks to someone and finds out, and then he goes to that guy, and then so forth so on. Like they're like traveling to find it, and the storylines go back and forth and whatnot. And I don't remember which character or which timeline it was, but one of them like they stumble across like a commune, like a Christian commune or like a Catholic commune, I guess, where like this priest is like hey, he has all these boys that he's like rounded up from around like the villages, and he just uses them as like slaves basically. And then like
Sex slaves?
no, but like the
Well, he's
the
Catholic priest, you said.
the witch doctor guy is like one night they end up staying there for the night, and like the witch doctor guy like hears like the guy beating them like in the middle of the night. Like he just has like a line of kids, and he's just like they're taking turns like beating the shit out of him, and he ends up like chasing him off. I think they actually killed the guy. I can't remember, but it's funny because like that happens, and then like in the future, like the next guy goes to the exact same village, and like one of the kids is like the messiah of the village. Like he's like he thinks he's Jesus Christ, and he's like, I don't know, it's pretty cool. And I don't know, they just kind of like wander around, and they eventually my biggest problem is like they eventually in the future storyline they eventually find the plant that they're looking for, and it's like the last one. The guy's been protecting it the whole time because he thinks like the white man's trying to take it, like the rubber barons and shit like that, and
Fitzcarraldo.
yeah, so and then it's kind of cheesy. Like he ends up like grinding up the plant or whatever, and I think he like makes like ayahuasca or something out of it. So he ends up like going on like a drug, like it has like a drug montage, like a psychedelic montage, and it's like nah, it's cheesy as fuck.
This movie's in black and white, is it not?
Yeah, and it's like all in color and looks really kind of bad.
The drug montage is in
Yeah,
color?
it does not look good at all.
That's
It
a
was
bummer.
like a massive bummer.
That is a bummer.
And
That's what dropped it from a 5 for you?
yeah, I was just like, it's just not good. But like the whole movie, other than that, looks really good, and it's a good idea. It just falls flat at the end. And
Cool.
I
Well,
don't
I
know.
still want to see it.
It's not. I mean, it's not bad.
Just,
Check it out.
Hasn't come on, Netflix or anything yet. When it does, I'll be there. I have 4 more to talk about. I'm gonna blast through most of these, but I watched Two Lane Blacktop for the first time. It's from 1971. It's directed by Monty Hellman.
Oh, yeah.
This movie fucking rules. It's about a pair of race car drivers in the 70s, late 60s, early 70s. They're played by James Taylor of folk singer fame,
Wow.
and Dennis Wilson of Beach Boys fame, who have never acted before or since, apparently. But they're good in this. They don't really have a lot to do. They don't talk a lot, but James Taylor is the driver of the car, and Dennis Wilson is the mechanic who's like the passenger, but he like fixes it every time it needs fixing. And the car is this like really badass, like old, like 40s or 50s like I don't know, car that they've mounted into this huge engine into, and they're driving it around, and that's how they like make their money, is that they do these races from town to town, and they end up running across this guy on a GTO played by Warren Oates, who is just the fucking man. Like, Warren Oates is the shit. I've never seen him in something where I didn't love him. He is fucking great. And he's in this. He plays GTO as his name. According to the credits, they never talk about what their names are. He's just like the driver, the mechanic, the girl, GTO. There's this girl that they pick up who's kind of inconsequential, but she's fine in it and everything. You know, she doesn't draw anything away from it. Anyways, GTO makes a bet that he can make it to Washington, D.C. faster than them. And they do their bet for pink slips, which is for the car, essentially. And they take the pink slips and they mail them to Washington, D.C., and then whoever gets there first just waits for the other guy to get there, and then they take the pink slips and the car. And it's really great. Anytime James Taylor opens his mouth, it's all like, it's such like, he's just insulting, and like he's kind of a dick, but it's like cool because he's the man, you know. And there's a lot of, you know, fast car montages of them racing and stuff and making money, losing money. There's not a whole lot of plot going on in it, and there's no score. It's all source music. So, like, for instance, there's at one point they're driving around like a drive-in, like, fast food place, and a Doors song is playing, and the rest of the soundtrack is just the car. I mean, the cars are really loud, and, you know, there's a lot of really good sound design. So this is excellent. It's on Criterion. I gave it a 5 out of 5. I think it's beautiful. I had to download it to watch it because it's not on Hulu for some reason. But it is very, very good. After that, I watched Interstellar for the first time from 2014, directed by Christopher Nolan. Obviously, you know, based on my Dark Knight review, I don't like Nolan. I don't think he's very good. But I went into this as open-mindedly as I could. I had heard good things about it from certain people. I'd heard negative things about it from other people, but I was wanting to give it a fair shake. And I'll be honest, there are parts of this movie, certain ideas in this movie, scenes that verge on like 6 out of 5 territory for me. Like, they're in fucking incredible.
What about the scene where they go down to the water plant and then they go back up, and like the guy's aged like 45 years,
moments in the movie.
23 years.
20 years. Yeah,
that guy.
Okay.
That idea is
here's
awesome.
the thing. Love the idea of the relativity of time. The idea that they go to this planet and every hour is 7 years.
Yeah.
Great idea. Amazing idea. Totally glossed over in this movie. It's talked about as if we're going to go down there and try to spend as little time as down there as possible so that we can get back up here before too much time has passed. Okay. They go down. The whole water planet scene is pretty fucking badass. The fact that the waves, that she thinks they're mountains and they're like 90 feet tall.
Yeah.
And I mean, they're taller than that. They're like hundreds of feet tall. It's insane. And then when they get back up, they get into the spaceship and he says, "How long have we been gone?" And the guy's gone gray and everything, and he says 23 years and 7 months and 4 days or whatever. And he's like, "We were down there for 3.5 hours or whatever." I'm like, that's badass. Let's explore how that's affected this character. No.
Nope.
Who's this guy? David Oluwayo?
Nobody
knows
spent
this
23 years
guy.
in a ship by himself. He's fine.
Yeah, nobody cares about this character. He's a side character. He only exists to have that. Hold on. He only exists so that we can have that reveal of you've been gone 23 years.
Wouldn't it be cool as fuck if like he's completely psychotic and like he tries to fucking murder them when they get back? That'd be cool as fuck.
Instead, they
and then
kind
McConaughey
of
just like have a knife fight.
Instead they kind of do that. Spoilers. They kind of do that later with the random occurrence when they open up the sarcophagus and the thing.
Matt Damon.
And they find Matt Damon, and he does that.
Okay,
but
so,
he wasn't. He was asleep in this thing. This guy was like awake for 20. It's just.
So that's a problem I have. Now, I love the idea. I love that water planet sequence. I love the the idea of the time dilation and everything. It's great. But then the fact that they gloss over it really pisses me off. And then they say something else that is just like, that's awesome. The fact that the woman who was on that planet, the astronaut who they were going to find, that she had just died right before they got there. Even though in their time, she'd been gone for like 10 years. When they got there and they were on the planet, she had just died moments before. Like, she had died when the last wave hit.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Like, any kind of time shit is awesome to me. That being said, that's pretty much where it...
You didn't like the black hole, like him going through the black hole, and like love is like the secret to like the universe?
I didn't get that.
The love is like...
Here's what I didn't like about... Here's what I didn't like about the black hole. And spoiler, he goes into the black hole. One, I'm not a physicist. I don't know much about this kind of stuff. You probably know more. You've seen all these shows. As far as I've heard,
you would die.
Can't go into a black hole because a black hole is mathematical zero. It's like...
No, you can go into a black hole. You just like, once you hit the event horizon, like my right hand is hitting the event horizon, okay? Like,
don't you just like smear on?
Yeah,
it?
this is like infinitely like, it's like, no, it doesn't. You can't stay together. Your atoms don't stay together.
Right.
Your entire being would be
therefore
smeared on the
you can't
event
go
horizon.
into the black hole.
No.
I mean, you could, but
you
would die, or you might even be alive, but you wouldn't be you anymore.
Yeah.
So he goes into the black hole, and when he starts, the first thing, major problem, is when he detaches to go into the black hole. Why? There's no reason for him to do this other than we need the audience to see the black hole. And he's just
I mean, I could rationalize, like, maybe it's like, I'm gonna die anyway. Let's see what happens.
He wasn't gonna die anyway.
Oh, he wasn't?
He was headed towards the planet with Anne Hathaway.
Oh,
he and Anne Hathaway were going to go to the last planet.
Well, no, it's like he's going to die anyway because like he couldn't go with her.
No, he could go with her.
He was like a drag or whatever.
No.
Was he not?
Wrong.
Really?
The other thing was a drag. The robot was a drag. He was going to be with her. He was in the other ship, and then he detached because she was really pissed off when he detached. She's like, "What are you doing? No!" And he goes, "Gotta leave somebody behind." And then like the ship was like flying off into the thing, and then he goes into the black hole. He's flying in. There's debris hitting his ship. He has to eject out of the ship, which, whatever. When that's happening, I'm genuinely engaged and excited. What are they going to show us? What's the black hole going to look like? I'm like excited to see what they're going to render. And then he's flying into it, and he sees this grid, and I was like, that's awesome. There's some kind of fucking grid inside the black hole. Like, the black hole is... Because, like, when I hear black hole, all I think about is, like, math. And, like, here's this geometric object inside the black hole. It's totally unfathomable to us. And it's this huge grid of holes that you could fly... And he flew into it, and I was like, oh, my God, this is really good. This is good stuff. Then Nolan decides to say, like, you like that? That's pretty good. All right. Fuck your mother. Okay? This shit is not naturally occurring. This shit is made by future humans. And it's time in the third dimension. Which is like, who gives a shit? And the fact that they keep saying they're aliens. No, they're future humans. Who cares? They might as well be aliens. It's ludicrous and lame. And like... The idea that they've created this box where he can see into his daughter's bedroom.
That's mental.
Like, why?
That was like, I was like pissed the fuck off when this was happening. And
then it's like the whole scene. He's saying he sees himself come in and he's like, "No, don't go!" And he's like doing the Morse code, S-T. It's like, don't you remember that shit happening? Why would you be doing the exact same? It's like self-fulfilling prophecy, but it's like moronic. Like, why would you be doing that? And then he does the Morse code with the salt or the binary salt or the dust or whatever. It's just like, what? Like, you don't remember any of this? And now it's like you're just doing it again. Like, it's almost like out of obligation. Like, oh yeah, I remember the ghost did that, and now I know I'm the ghost, so I need to do that. Like, why would you? I wouldn't even do it. I'd just be like, I don't need to do this shit. It didn't work. Why would I do it? I'd try something else. Like, unless you're expected to believe he doesn't remember that moment, but which is insane. Finally, this is probably the worst performance from Matt Damon I've ever seen. He was really terrible in it.
Yeah,
I don't understand his motivation at all. I don't understand why he wanted to kill Matthew
He's
McConaughey.
a useless character. That whole scene is useless.
It's really
Stupid.
lame, and his lines are terrible. I do like the part where he's trying to go into the airlock, although I don't believe that he'd be stupid enough to do that. But when he's trying to go into the airlock and then it just explodes on him, that's pretty cool. Don't mind Anne Hathaway. Don't mind Matthew McConaughey, but he can't understand fucking what he's saying. Like I had to turn subtitles on. I couldn't understand anything that was going on. It was like so noisy, and his accent, I just couldn't handle it. Jessica Chastain is terrible in this and everything, including Life. Somebody should really just put her out of her misery. Just 38 to the back of the head, behind two behind the ear. You know, just finish her off. She's horrible. I don't know like what anybody sees in this woman. She's so insincere with her performance. She's so.
I really hated anything involving her and the whole like space program on Earth. That was terrible. Everything was terrible. This whole movie sucks. I don't like any of it. It's stupid. I hate it.
I like the robot design.
The robot design was cool.
That's about.
I mean, sort of cool. I don't know. The whole fucking thing feels fake.
I hated the robot voices. I don't understand why they had to, like, they instilled all this, like, they're making jokes and shit. I just like, why do they sound like they're just people voicing robots? Like, robots don't sound that way. And I understand this is, like, in the future slightly, but, like, really, we're going to get there? We're going to get to the point? I mean, I don't know. It's just mental.
And also, they show the black hole, and they show the like there's material around the black hole. This is like kind of irrelevant, but there's like material around the black hole, and it's like glowing. It's like fiery red. Like that would just incinerate anyone within like a light year.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just fucking stupid. This movie sucks. It makes no sense.
What happens afterwards? Whenever he's out of the, how does he get out of the dimension? And he's all of a sudden in the future. He takes the wormhole to the future.
He just like transports
the future
instantly
humans
to,
transport him there
to Saturn or whatever. Through the wormhole, I guess.
In a future where there's like the last remnants of Earth are in these like colonies.
They figured out how to do the
Space colonies.
anti-gravity thing.
Yeah.
Which is just like, what the fuck?
And then he decides,
and the idea that gravity is like this, the important thing. We need to understand gravity. We don't understand that there's an equation, and like it just feels like shorthand to like we don't want to really explain this because it gets a little complicated. So we're just gonna like use these like random scientific words. You know, like there's an equation to figure out. That's all you really need to know.
And then you can make it happen.
I don't like any of the science. I don't like want to hear science in the movie. I want to see like 2001. I want to see just like shit happening, and it's mysterious and it's cool.
2001 has a much more basic storyline.
And it's it's just like it's too complicated. You bring in a physicist to make the movie. Who gives a shit? Just who cares what a black? Who gives a fuck if you can't actually go into a black hole? Send him into the black hole. Make it look cool. Make something cool happen. Not this like weird. Like if
make him smear around the event horizon. That would have been badass. Like he just fucking, it just becomes like a big spiral.
and then
flesh.
he ejects like outside of Saturn. There you go, into the movie. Yeah. I don't know.
I'm in. Anyways, this it was not great. I gave it a 2.5 out of 5. I mean, I won't say like it was like horrible to watch or I didn't enjoy looking at it, but I think it looked fine.
I think it's better than the Batman movies.
I agree. It's better than the Batman movies. After that, I watched Manglehorn, directed by David Gordon Green from 2 years ago. Wanted to give this like a 5 out of 5. Wanted to love this. Thought I was going to, but this is really David Gordon Green is like not good, and he just like rips off Harmony Korine and Herzog, which is weird because Harmony Korine is in this movie and he has a pretty big part.
Really?
Yeah.
Is this new?
Yeah, it's from 2014.
Oh, wow.
It's got Al Pacino and Holly Hunter. I mean, it's okay. It's not like terrible, but it's very like. It's very Harmony Korine. I mean, like it seems like something he would have done. I mean, it seems like something he might still do. It's just a story about a guy who runs he's like a locksmith, and in a small Texas town, and he falls in love with his banker, his bank teller, who's played by Holly Hunter, and he's kind of a lonely guy, and he's obsessed with the girl who got away years and years ago. And it's about him coming to terms with that. It's fine, whatever, you know.
Just generic.
Yeah, at the end of it, there's this weird surrealistic moment where he forgets his key. He locks himself out of his van, which is I get that. That's ironic because he's a locksmith, and he's like, "Oh, I locked my keys in my van." And he looks and there's a mime across the street who's like, I guess going to like a kid's birthday or something.
Yeah.
And the mime starts like miming to him, and he's like, I locked myself out of my van. And the mime reaches into his pocket and like pulls out a key. It's not a real key. It's like he's a mime, so it's nothing. And he throws it to him, and he mimes catching it, and then he can unlock the door. And I'm just like, what does that mean? Like, that has nothing to do with anything in this movie. I don't understand why you would do that. Like, that makes no fucking sense to me. But anyway, it was whatever. I'll never watch it again. After that, last movie I watched was called Cockfighter. It's directed by Monty Hellman also. It's the movie that he did after Two-Lane Blacktop. It's not nearly as good as Two-Lane Blacktop, but it has its own charm to it. It's a movie about a cockfighter, a guy who fights roosters in the 70s, played by Warren Oates, who's good in this, but it's a bummer because his character doesn't speak, which is like sucks dick, honestly. It's like you're watching the whole time, just like, I just want him to talk. Like, just talk, man. He's great. I love his voice. And he just never speaks because it's like this old stupid story about like how his mouth used to get him into trouble, so he took a vow of silence, that kind of thing. So he doesn't talk. He just like writes shit down and like shows people and stuff.
That's really
which is
dumb.
Pretty lame. Like,
that's
has nothing
really
to do with
fucking stupid.
Yeah, but the movie, I guess, is pretty controversial because they stage actual cockfights for the movie and they film them.
That rules.
So a lot of dead roosters in this movie, and roosters stabbing each other with huge, like, they have these big like metal spikes that they attach to their like wrists, and they like slam them down in like the other chicken's neck, and like it's pretty graphic.
So they add weapons to the spurs.
Have.
Good night.
So it's pretty graphic, and they're really cockfight. Harry Dean Stanton is in this movie. He's also very good in it. He's like kind of the antagonist, and they have to fight roosters a lot. But it's like, it's cool because they're actually there doing it. Like, they're the ones fighting. Like, they had to learn how to fight roosters because there's like a lot of, it's kind of an involved process. Like, they have to, there's like all these different like motions you have to do.
How the
like,
fuck did this get made?
I don't know. And it's illegal to show it in England still to this day because of animal cruelty and stuff.
Wow.
And it hasn't been, I don't think it's been released on DVD. I had to download it, but
Oh, quick question: would that mean that Apocalypse Now redo is illegal to show because of that scene where they're butchering the
no,
ox?
because Coppola filmed that scene. Those are, as far as I know, those are natives killing that cow, and it's part of their sacred ritual.
Oh, okay. So
that's considered documentary footage.
Gotcha. Okay.
And it's the same thing with this. If they were making a documentary about cockfighting, it would be fine.
So you're just filming,
but they staged the
style.
cockfights for the movie, so those roosters didn't have to die. Is essentially what they're saying. Okay. It's fine. It reminded me a lot of Les Blanc, like documentaries by Les Blanc. It's shot like a documentary, but it's obvious it's not. It's a movie.
Yeah.
It looks like Les Blanc though, or like even like Strozek. Certain parts of Strozek that look like this, and it's good. You don't need to see it, but it's good.
Yeah.
I want to see more Monty Hellman stuff. I like him a lot. I like his stuff. I like Two-Lane Blacktop. Just ruled. That was my last movie, and some TV stuff. But I mean, like we said, I watched The Nick. I love The Nick, Soderbergh series, and I've been watching OJ Made in America, and it's great, a very very in-depth documentary about OJ Simpson and the double murder he committed. And
I finished recently, not too long ago. Finished the Daredevil season 2. It was really good. I mean,
this guy at work keeps trying to get me to watch it.
I have no desire to really get into the Daredevil. The only thing I knew of Daredevil was he was on a couple episodes of Spider-Man.
Okay, can I say something about Daredevil?
Okay.
I'm at school. I'm at work, and it's the last couple of days, so I got nothing to do. So I'm watching YouTube videos like all the time, and I watch a YouTube video of I wanted to see the Punisher in Daredevil, so I'm like, but I'm not going to commit to like watching 2 seasons just so I can see the Punisher. So I would just look up a scene, Punisher, and it's like him. It's like Punisher escapes and kills 8 guys or whatever. So I watched this scene, and the Punisher's tied up in a chair, and he's talking to the guy. And, I don't know what he says. I don't know what's going on. Some generic bad guy, you know, is gonna kill you, boy, you know. And he somehow gets free. I think he has a hammer and he hits the guy over the head and kills him, and then he gets like a shotgun and starts blowing these people away.
He shoots the face off the main dude.
Yeah. He blows all these people away, okay? And I'll be honest, didn't love it because the flash paper is horrendous. Like the shotgun blasts are like terrible flash
paper.
It's really bad looking. But I'm okay with that. I don't, you know, that's not a deal breaker for me. You know, there's a lot of that. Like there's a shitload of flash paper on The Sopranos. It doesn't bother me that much. But beyond that, here comes Daredevil in. He's kicking the shit out of everybody. Yeah, he's in the suit. Ugh. He's got like a pipe and he's like just kicking he's just like blasting people in the face with this like stick. And
isn't it like a police baton?
It looks like kind of like a baton. It's like this long in the show. It's like this little metal pipe thing. Anyways,
okay.
He gets in there. He's fighting everybody, and he like knocks the gun out of his hand, or he stops him somehow from killing people. And he's on the ground. He's all beat up and everything at this point, Punisher, and he goes, altar boy. He calls him an altar boy, and I was like, and he goes, and then he's like, no, you know, we're gonna do this the right way. Out of the way. He just says something to the effect of like, I don't want to, no killing, you know, and then he immediately takes that metal rod and hits this guy in the face so hard, and I'm just like, honestly, I think I'd rather be dead than be like brain damaged the rest of my life by this guy who's hitting me in the face with a metal rod over and over again. And I mean, it's like, what's the difference? Like, you're no killing, but I'll beat the shit out of you until you're not the same person anymore. Like, it doesn't make sense to me. And at that point, I was
Mercy
like,
kill,
I don't think I'm going to watch this show just because I can't deal with that conundrum. But I mean, you know, I
don't know. I get that. I finished it. It was pretty good. I liked it, and I really liked the Punisher. I really liked Bernthal.
Yeah,
it was great. And like, if you're not crazy about the shotgun flash paper, some of the gunfights, just the scene where he's in the prison and he has to fight all these guys. That sold me.
I'll look up the prison fight on YouTube.
Basically, they confirmed they're making a standalone show, and it ended off with him. Basically, he's going off, and they're going to make a show. So I'm really looking forward to that.
Have any of you seen The Preacher?
No.
I watched the first episode.
Not interested.
Was it good?
I don't know. I know nothing about the comic, the graphic novel, because I remember you had some of those, didn't you? You had something.
I think I had I think I had 2 that I borrowed from a friend, and then I downloaded every issue on my iPad and have never looked at one.
I really didn't really get, I mean, there's stuff that seemed cool in it, but I didn't really get into it that much. I think I might watch it once it's on Netflix, like the first season. I just haven't, I don't know, I'm just not really, the last season of Walking Dead killed me. I'm done.
Even with Jeffrey Dean Morgan and the baseball bat with the barbed wire.
I didn't even watch the episode. I'm tired of the same continuing reboot scenario.
Well, this was a good one.
Long.
Was it? How long?
Yes.
6,137
seconds. So, whatever that is.
I don't know.
Anyways, thanks for listening if you listened, and you know, we'll be back in another 6 or 7 months for another one. Hopefully I've watched another 40 or so movies, and tune in next time.
Yeah.
All right.
Bye.